Welcome to the Image Critique Show with Jeff Johnson, Rick Avalos, and their special guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Well, welcome everyone to our last minute show before the PP Colorado competition. We tried to squeeze one more critique show in there for you so you guys could have a chance to tweak some images and submit them. And we've got some awesome folks, some good friends of ours. First of all, I have to mention Rick is not with us this evening, and mostly because he's in Italy. That's probably the main reason. But the other reason is because he's being our jury chairman for the competition next week, that we didn't want him to see the images or have a possibility of finding out who the makers were. So we're just trying to be fair to you. So that's why he's not here. In his stead, we have our good friend Kevin Holliday, who's going to, I guess you'll go by Kevin and not Rick. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
So Jeff Dachowski from New Jersey is here. Sorry.
No,
I'm just
no.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Vermont. No,
Stop
wait.
that.
Yeah, but you like Boston. You like the Red Sox. So you're kind of in that ballpark. He's from New Hampshire. And he's been a phenomenal photographer, a juror. You've done jury chair for quite a few times too, haven't you?
I have.
PTA president. So he's been around the block a couple of times. Jeff, welcome, man. Thank you for helping us out tonight.
Thanks for being here, guys.
So we've got a bunch of images tonight, and of course, I always forget to welcome Cliff, our boss, who's sitting there. Cliff is going to he did a very cool interview of the veteran soldiers that he's been photographing. One TV station interview and two different TV stations. So we've got 29 images this evening. So we don't want to make this too long of an evening, but our judges are going to give you some really excellent commentary so that you can score well at the PPC competition coming up. So if everybody's all set, I'm going to go ahead and steal the screen here, and we will get started. Let's do the proper screen. Let's do that one there.
Got it.
Hang on one second. Somebody's asking for the passcode again.
While he's doing that, everyone, Cliff has gone ahead and uploaded that link to the chat. I've seen the interview, and I've also seen a lot of Cliff's work. I highly recommend that you go watch this and then visit Cliff's website to see his work. It's phenomenal work on the veterans.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
And the last time we talked, Cliff, you said you've done 200 now?
You were boots on the ground.
I did the 200th last week. Yeah.
That's just the coolest thing.
So cool.
So make sure you get, I think it's like a 2-minute interview, but just go see it. And it's very Cliff. It's very laid back, and it's kind of like, oh, whatever. Oh, shucks. I'm expecting to go, oh, shucks, in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start. Let's see. The first image we're going to come up with is called, this is good. I love the titling. We always talk about clever titling and good stuff. This is called A Box of Cubans. Well, Jeff, we're gonna start off with our guest. I'll let you dive right in and give us some thoughts.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting presentation. When I look at these 9 faces, when I'm kind of viewing this almost like an album, because there's so much, so many faces and eyes and masks to look at. When I look at an album, I'm always looking for, where are we at with, is there a direct merit image in an album? Is there an image that I would pull out of an album and say this would merit? And so I'm looking for consistency as well. When I look at this box of Cubans, what I'm fearful is that I don't see a consistency in the lighting styles, right? And so when I look at, say, the image in image number 3, if I'm starting at the top, doing 3 rows of 3.
Right.
Image number 3, I think, is strong, 3-dimensionality in the lighting, whereas image number 4, it's really quite flat. Here, I'm sorry, I got a pen. I forgot. This image here is really strong 3-dimensionality. This image has a lot of strong dimensionality, and so does this one. And this one here is flat. And this one, like, it's coming from a lot of different angles. My fear for the maker of this is that there's so many light patterns to look at that the juror is going to freeze up and not know where to put this. Because are we looking at all of them? Are we, judging one of them? And so I think it's a risk of putting multiple images on one entry like this.
Now, isn't it true that when you do an album, that pretty much all the images need to be in that merit category in order to get a merit on the book or the album? Isn't this kind of, I mean, pretty much, but isn't this is kind of the same principle you're talking about? They all need to be of that quality. One alone can bring it down, correct?
Yeah, one inconsistency can certainly bring it down. For me, an album is I'm a little bit more leeway. Like if I'm looking at a wedding album and there's a merit or two images in there,
Right.
I can get to merit on it as long as there's consistency. So my fear with this is that it's each one of these images is interesting on its own. Together, it comes off as a little distracting to me.
Kevin,
Yeah,
thoughts on this?
I can kind of agree with that as well. I mean, when it first popped up, as a book designer and a graphic designer as well, by trade, I'm looking for how it lays out on a page. Let's say it's a single page of a book. The bottom row really looks wonderful as a triptych, I think, because the background's all the same on these. But the division here between these two is, especially down here in his shoulder, is kind of blending into the image next to it. So there's some of these things that are happening that are a little bit distracting as far as how it's laid out. But placement of eyes, how this guy's looking in, is really great. And then this placement of him to the bottom left edge, especially if this were the gutter of a book, for example, he's too close into the gutter. So that's what I'm seeing. I love what you mentioned about the light, Jeff. I wasn't even thinking about any of those things, not being a portrait photographer. So it's interesting. I've am concerned with how the judges would score this or judge this in competition. I think you're right, Jeff. I think it's a potentially risky submission.
I just had a thought just because of what all you guys have said here. So,
Yeah.
so it might be a little more powerful to take three of the images that are a lot closer together, the correct lighting and density and all those, and maybe make a triptych or something like that of three
These
faces.
right here. And divide them with a kind of a matte bar,
Yeah, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah. And have it be a
Or,
triptych because
or
the
enter it as
backgrounds on all these are the same,
true. What's
which
that,
is what
Jeff?
I liked about them.
you could enter it as an album. I don't know if you guys offer albums or not. Like
Oh yeah, the
that would
state.
allow each page to be its own character, and it would reduce the idea of direct comparison.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good
So
idea.
you wouldn't have this 9 up like you have now. You would have you would have 9 pages, is what you're
Right.
saying? Okay.
Exactly. So each one would be a standalone on a page, surface of a page, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next
Love
one.
the title. I will say that. Love the title.
Yeah.
I know that's the thing is the title, and of course, a lot of times we know how a title can carry a photograph. I mean, especially if it ties in to it. And sometimes it's kind of like, oh, so if you took these to a book, the Box of Cubans title wouldn't work as well. That's too bad. So, unless it was presented it as a, whoops, I gotta get out of here. Presented as a book in a box or something like that. Okay. We now have one called An Honorable Man. We go. Do we want a black background? Would that be better? No,
No.
stay with the dark gray. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting image. I like the lighting. I appreciate the light in the eyes. The kicker giving a sense of three-dimensionality both on the cheek and on the leather cut he's wearing here. Um, I'm glad that the flag itself is a little desaturated in the back because that red could easily draw you up into it. The image is coming off a little warm to me. I am on a calibrated monitor, but I recognize Zoom is a funny thing. So I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you that it's warm for sure, but the color balance comes off as a little warm to me. I think it's an interesting image, and you play with a black background. I got to tell you, I'm not sure I like the black matte because it really weakens the exposure feel on the black cut and the black shirt. Well, all the black items actually.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, a lot of times the black matte is powerful and we kind of fall on that, but it can show or make the image feel underexposed if it's not a true black in the shadows. That's a good point. I'm kind of seeing, I'm kind of seeing a little bit of an orangey yellow cast in the highlights here. Is that what you're talking about, Jeff, as far as exposure? And
Yeah, and the exactly, and even like the highlight on the kicker illustrating on the cheek, it looks to me a little yellow, a little orange there. But again, it very well could be the zoom, which I'm not willing to make an absolute
right.
discussion about whether it is or not. Zoom is a funny thing, you know.
Right. It'll add stuff that's not there sometimes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Kevin, anything else you want to add?
I think it's all been said. Yeah.
How about, and back to the portrait veteran, and kind of from my youth growing up, do you feel like is the head position, the top of the head to the frame okay, or is that close, or what do you think on that, Jeff? Is it?
I think it's good. You know, for me, I what I really like about this pose is it's not doesn't look like a license, you know. We've got a diagonal here, right? And we're not straight up and down here. We've got these diagonals that are coming, you know, tying in the wedge of the shirt here. And again, I like that this line isn't straight, you know, it isn't parallel to
Right, right.
I like how that I like that. You know, if I were to make one comment, can't tell what's going on with his hand here. It feels like it's on his right leg. But I'd love for him to sit up a little bit straighter, you know, and pull these wedges even tighter to force the eye into this triangle right here. It's a little loose, right? But these are all little things. I'm not talking about remaking the image. It's just, you know, discussions for critiques. I
Right,
love
exactly.
shape. I love shapes inside of shapes. You know, I think that's always a thing. Like, you know, when you think of, say, is it the Deathly Hollows, right? There's a triangle with a circle,
Right.
a line, right? Like that's really appealing. So anytime you can add shapes inside of shapes, triangles inside of rectangles or squares, you're going to force the eye to spend more time.
Well, that definitely creates depth in our vision. So I think that's definitely a good to make these more three-dimensional. So good call. All right. We have a image called Ancient Carvings. Kev, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me suck this in for a second. It's really nice. Drawn right into this from this lovely entry point here, lower left. Beautifully brings me into this, just wrap around to this is, I would say, is the subject here, you know. It's
Yeah,
one of those images where the entire thing is the subject.
right.
But the entry point on the lower left is just, it's an exquisite location, I feel. And then just the way that it wraps around as I've drawn there and back into those, where the mountains are dipping and you have all that texture in here. I feel like I could use a little bit more darkening in some of these kind of these valleys so you could kind of get a little bit more separation. Simply going in with your burn tool could help kind of darken some of those just on the other side of this ridge there. You could darken. Let me get a different color here. Yes,
That's right. You're working.
yeah. So just on that ridge there, just behind that ridge, so you could get a little bit more separation on some of these. Even in here, probably would just allow some more depth. I'm not loving the sky. It's a little funny feeling up in here and here too. So maybe even a crop down, you know, to eliminate some of that. Pretty tight to the top of that mountain there. Let's take
That's
a
kind of
peek.
what I'm looking at. The sky is cool, but a lot of times if we're trying to,
I think it distracts,
yeah, that you
honestly.
get a nice sky, but you're trying to show the ground
Yeah.
formation as your image, the sky can pull away. So even something like this, you get just enough breathing room up there that the
Yeah, let me
sky
clear my
still has
drawings.
its feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. This really is lovely right in here, this entry. Really, really well seen.
I always look at these kind of things if I like to just play here. I'm going to go, where did my tool go? Okay,
Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like this line that comes in here. I think that the image, the time of day or type of day is creating a bit of flatness. You know, when I look at this section here, I recognize that it's different colors, but
Yep.
it's all the same value, like light value. You know, there's not a lot of depth here. And so when I look at this line here, I would do exactly what you said is I would actually burn all of these, any of these shadows I can get, I would bring
Yep.
them all to come down into
Yep.
this light, even at like, you know, I would be highlighting all these lines that run in to keep my
Absolutely.
eye into this frame. And when you start drawing it, that's what we're really trying to do, right? We're trying to create this sort of movement here. I
Yep.
think this is Mount Whitney in the background. This is probably some Death Valley is a Brisky Point or something, or close to it. I love to keep everything pointing into the flow of the image. So
Right.
I want everything to flow in. In reality, you're just following the contour of the land. All the water in this place is actually ending up here anyways. So
Right.
just move the eye, move the viewer into, whoops,
That's me.
you know, move the eye and the viewer into channel where the eye wants to go.
And I think in this case, yeah, I agree with everything that you guys have said because I think there's a strong potential here with all these little things that'll just tweak it. You can make the whole image a little deeper, but if you show separation, adding shadows to those valleys, letting the highlights of the tops of each little ridge stand out, but even darkening the path could still be,
Yeah.
instead everything else is in the warm tone, then we have this gray tone. I think will definitely still give you that.
And all of that needs to be done selectively, not globally with
Yes.
sliders. It's with selective tools that you go in and just darken these shadow sides down, all of them, every one of
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
And
It's a bit of work.
you'll get so much more separation in doing so.
Yeah, do it on a separate layer, or make an
Absolutely.
adjustment like a
Yeah.
levels layer.
Right.
You can paint it in a little bit. Excuse me.
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think? What do you guys think about the matte and the texture there?
Yeah, I was just
You know, I didn't even notice it, so I suppose that's a good
That's a
thing.
good thing. Yeah.
The
yeah,
key
for me,
line is super subtle. That's a really subtle key line. That's nice. Yeah.
yeah, as anyone's ever heard my critiques, I'm always talking about these outer key lines.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't notice this one, but in general, I don't like outer key lines. I'm saying in general because what it's really saying is, look at my mat.
Yeah.
Like I don't love that what you know. I mean, I realize you're not saying it as a maker saying, "Look at my mat," but when you add a key line out of the image, you know, then you kind of by accident saying, look at I'm adding ornamentation to the mat," and that is risky in my opinion because if I'm noticing it, I don't want to be up in here noticing the key line. I want to be in here living in the geometry and the geography of the image you presented. So
Is the key line mandatory?
no, well, I like it to finish the image so that the mat has a nice sharp edge to it.
Yep.
But it's never mandatory for me, especially if it's outside. You know, one of the tricks I always like to do when I'm talking key lines too is people will say, well, I want to, like, let's say there's a big red scene here. They add a red key line, and what they're really doing is they're drawing the eye out of the frame, right? They're saying, come look at my mat. But if you go to the color picker, Jeff, can you pull up a color picker for a second? Can you do that where you're at?
Sure. Let me do this real quick.
There's a trick to doing it that the eye is always looking for opposite. And so if you want to draw the eye to the middle of a frame, then you make your key line the exact opposite color of that spot. So if in the way you do that, sorry, I know it's in tools. Yeah, so
sorry.
oh, you know what? You can do that and grab the just click on the yeah, sorry, I can't quite see because I've got something covering what you've got in there. Sorry, it's been a long time, but this is a global.
Sorry, it got covered by a.
Yeah, no worries. So click on a color anywhere in the frame for a minute. All right, so now if you go to the L, A, and B of that, and what does it say, Jeff? Does it say 18 or I can't see the numbers?
1573.
Yeah,
1573.
1573.
So leave the L alone and put a -7 and a -3.
Mm.
Just add a negative number in front of it and a -3. That is the exact opposite color of what you just picked. So then you make the key line that, and you leave it subtle. You drop the opacity a little bit, and that forces the eye to look for harmony inside the frame.
Yeah,
Good point.
that makes good sense.
Yep. It does, because I mean, there's so many mats and there's so many talented mat makers out there, and the kind of makes the photograph second place or second notice, and that's not what you're trying to do here. So great mats are good if you want to sell them to your clients, but for competitions, it's just more of a rule. You have to submit it in PPA, at least in their state, with the mat. So good stuff. Next we have anticipation. I'll make you wait for this one. Sorry. Anytime we
What
can
was that?
squeeze a bad joke in. Anticipation. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. It's the frame is a little small on my zoom, right? So it's smaller than it would be judging. Love the eyes that are right in here. I think that's really cool. Let me clear my drawing for a minute here. Thank you. I'm a little concerned with a couple things. It's really in the artwork. It's the finishing of the artwork. This tail here feels truncated. Like the line is so straight. It's like almost unnatural. It may be that's how it really is, but it's so straight. And then I realize there's no contact shadow around here, but the art technique looks like, at least at this elevation, if you will, that you're coming up and then you followed the line on the floor versus bringing the stroke to the cat's bum. And then I see that same type of artwork issues across some spots here. Like this here, the wood grain doesn't do that, right? Like it follows a line. It doesn't come and sweep up over and over again because it's going to hit the balustrades here, right? There's just several little artwork issues that are going to, in my problem, going to be problematic for a judge with an artist judging background. I think the image has impact though.
Yeah, that's true. Anytime an image comes up that's an art painted, it's I don't want to use the word harshly, but more critically critiqued, where you're going to get just what Jeff's saying. All those little things need to play into, even though it's painted, it still needs to be real life, so to speak, so that shadows don't go away and edges don't curve and things like that, because judges will pick that up.
Yeah, and like in here, I'm not sure what, again, I'm looking at it, not small, thank you for zooming in a bit, but there's a shape that's being formed here. There's a deep black shadow.
Right in here.
Isn't anywhere else. Yeah, and then this like opening.
Look at the lines of the brush. They look
right.
It's been pulled this way, so it's made this go like this.
Yeah.
So the benefit to doing this sort of thing, like coming to a critique night like this, is that this is the time you want to hear these comments.
Exactly.
Not when it's in front of the panel and you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't notice that." Right? Like that's what we're doing here.
No, that's a real good point, Jeff, because even just like the brush wood grain usually isn't curved like this unless it's around a knot like this. But when you get up against something, many of these brushes are curved.
Well, and I'd like to see a little more detail right in here in this white underneath his chin there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Painting is tough stuff. I won't do it.
Compositionally, this image is quite strong, frankly.
It's a very interesting point of view, isn't it? Very cool.
Yeah, it is. I would almost like this line right here to break the rule and hit the corner dead on, to stretch it to the corner.
Hey, Jeff, can you do me a favor? Speaking of composition, can you rotate it 180?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kevin.
No, it's good. I would like to see that. It's going to look really funny at first when we do this.
I wasn't sure if that tail would like be a nice lead in or not. No, it would need to then flip again. This area here, I'm sorry, whoops.
Can we go back?
When this area here is on the lower right, it draws the eye out of the frame.
Yeah.
I do feel like the floor itself is quite bright down in here.
Yeah, now flip it horizontal, Jeff. I'm sorry to keep doing that to you. I just want to see.
From this position?
Yeah, from this position. It might be that Maker gave us the best one as it was, right? Yeah, it's unsettling. Never mind. I like this wedge though. I like this wedge that's here. And I like that, again, that the whole idea of line shapes inside of shapes.
Right.
I like that this is confined. And I like that it creates an arrow, but I think the Maker was right in the first time.
Do you think if the floor was darkened, that this would be a better image this direction?
Yeah, possibly. It is bright. When my litmus test is always to squint my eyes. Right. And if I'm not looking where I know the Maker wants me to be, then there's a problem with the density. You know, when I squint my eyes, all what I see is this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, however, whatever direction you submit this, take that floor down, especially where it's most light between the tail here, which takes your eyes away from this beautiful face. I mean, there's some good work done in the face and the eyes. Good story. Even the title creates that feeling of anticipation. I think it's all good, but it's got that just that little bit of those little things we said that pull the eye away from where you want us to look. Okay, moving along, we have Breaking Dawn. Kevin, I'll let you jump in this one.
Yeah, let me take it in. A lot going on this for sure. Beautiful sunset. The location is spectacular. Nice wide angle lens here. Really liking this road coming in, leading me into. It's leading out also, but it kind of, I don't see it going out as much as I see it kind of leading into those homes, those homesteads down there more so. That's that looks really pretty. I do love the sky. I almost wish these clouds were coming down a little bit more. This is a pretty hot spot up there. This is almost one of those images where the sky is distracting from what's happening in the foreground unless we had some more color in here. Some
how about like
kiss of light.
Let's do something like this.
Maybe.
Again, it's kind of that. What is the subject matter, and if the sky?
Yeah, I mean, there's an expanse of foreground that is all very similar in tonality, and I just want to have a hit of light somewhere in here, a hit of light, something.
Do you think I think the contrast is kind of. I know the contrast is low at that time of day, either end of the day, but it just feels very weak in the shadows, which usually
something, yeah. I mean, this hill right here looks like it could have some light on it too. You could paint some light into some of these areas. I think that would really help. Just draw the eye, just give interest in the foreground a little bit more. So like this area here, and then this area, and these areas here, I think would
make it look more like sun rays or something coming in here.
Something, yeah. Yeah.
Jeff, what do you think?
Can you flip this image horizontal for me?
Sure. I'm gonna go back.
Doing that on landscapes is if it's a known mountain range.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be something that's not obvious. That's true.
So, like, you know, if I were judging this, you know, I've been to Colorado a lot, but I don't know that I don't know for sure that this is Colorado or if this is I don't know this road specifically, right? So
Right.
when I look at this hook to me is structurally better than the other way around, right? So in other words, this when it was flipped, this over here, it's like you've got this straight line that was bringing me out to this point, and this mountain I would have thought would have held me in, but I don't think it did. I think that this bright area, this is beautiful right down here. It kept bringing my eye to go look at that corner, which now I'm in this part of the frame. And once I get here, it's tough to get back. So, I mean, there is actually you could then circle in right to the area that Kevin was just talking about, like trying to create a little bit more depth here. All of these shadows, I realize they are more cyan because of the time of day, but I would probably want to warm them up a little bit because it's coming out of like a color harmony key. There's such beautiful warmth and clouds here. Again, not saying I have the answers. I'm just thinking, like Jeff said earlier, that what is the subject here? I know we've got great color, but I think I agree with Kevin that I don't need to see all this sky. And I think I like to flip better. And I'm not sure if you don't want to flip it back for me, please.
Sure. Why won't it let me? Oh, hang on. I got my.
Yeah. You're in your pencil.
There we go.
So I don't know that you need this. Like this mountain range isn't so dramatic that it keeps me in the frame.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking that this
let's play. Oops, where'd you go? Right there. It's like maybe to right at that little valley right there.
Yeah, and then bring it down. I think quite a bit off the top.
This bright area, I realize it's sun, but I think I went below that before, we still have enough brightness in the sky back here to give
I think
it
it works below it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me flows better. And you might even try flipping this to see. I do like this line. I like these intersecting lines that are going through here. But love to see this flip, and maybe that'll. Oh yeah, see this here and this here helps bring us into an S.
True.
Or I mean, I say, oh yeah, I mean, I just think that this dark area right here is enough to keep us in the frame.
No, I agree. It does. And I would even probably take let me just go get my pencil. All of these trees here, you could stand to tone those down. I would even bring out a little bit more of a deeper green in those, would tone them down so it becomes that base to stay on the road. And like I think both the guys said, you could go in and do a little burning and dodge. You can just kind of highlight some of these sunlit spots, the tops of the trees, the tops of these little ridges right here, and let the shadows play and let this ridge brighten up a little bit, let this area brighten up. And it's going to really pull attention on that route of the road coming into this area here. Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, it's beautiful color harmony throughout, nice tones of all the range. You got very nice warm, but it goes quickly into the cool tones and stays that way. But maybe just a little bit more. I think the blacks need to be enriched just a little bit. Again, I know it's a early morning or late afternoon time frame, but sometimes just still giving us a little bit of blacks in there is going. I'm just racing for a level
Yes,
too.
and lastly, you see this section right here. Get this to be the same value as this, and the eye will be forced to go there.
Yeah, so all I'm doing is bringing the blacks up just ever so slight, keeping the same brightness. But you can see how we're now automatically
A lot
getting
more drama.
Yeah, exactly. A little more drama, as my dad used to say.
Drama mean.
Now that we've totally butchered this maker, thank you for paying
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Moving right along, we have another image that's called Desert Fortress. Jeff, jump right back in.
Yeah, I like the light that we're seeing across some parts of this. I mean, these are always tricky because some parts are going to be deep shadows, excuse me, and some parts are going to be flat lit. You know, these areas here are pretty flat. You know, this face here, it's pretty flat. I'm not sure about this dead center composition. I'm not sure that this fortress is strong enough. I mean, of course, it's the ideas that behind this. I also, I mean, I'm getting a sense of banding up in here, but that may not be on it maybe only be on my screen, Jeff. So I'm going to defer to you up in this.
I actually do see something a little bit there. Not enough that caught my eye until you mentioned it though. So here's what I'm kind of seeing for a crop. Because again, sometimes the sky just those clouds are nice, but we've got so much texture and stuff going on down here that it isn't necessary. And I might even suggest, I don't know, holler at me guys if you think. Let's just take this guy off center just a little bit. So we're bringing this little peak to the edge.
Yep.
Maybe go up just a hair more.
Yeah, that already helped it.
And again, this lighting is dramatic enough that I think you can do things like let it go a little bit deeper in tone, bring back the highlights. You're even kicking up the contrast a little bit more, not too much. We don't want to lose detail in these shadows. This is going to be a cloud cover that won't have detail in it, but that's not bad. That's normal. You don't want to lose detail in here. I could use my pen that I tell everybody else to use. This area I wouldn't worry about. This area I wouldn't let them go dark. You don't want to lose detail in this area here because that'll be this I wouldn't worry about. You're fine there. But just something like that. And then you could, take out that last little
Yeah.
cloud, let the sky, maybe even do a gradation. I see a dust spot unless it's on my screen. Do a gradation in the sky so we have just a little bit darker. It comes down to lighter. This cloud's kind of cool back here. These clouds are cool along the ridge line.
Does the whole thing feel underprinted to you? It does to me. Like
Yeah, I think it
value
does.
just
Yeah.
it's crammed to the left on the histogram, I feel like.
Let me
Yep, it is.
yeah, yeah. So in a
Well, I mean that's far too much, but
right,
um and I think it would need to be done, selectively foreground versus sky almost.
correct.
The original,
Yeah.
when it first came up, it felt really flat as far as contrast was concerned. Not quite muddy, but close.
Doesn't that kind of lead? Because I mean, there's a quite a contrast range here, but it's the tonal range is lacking.
There,
We've got
there's not
dark,
there's not any whites in here.
right, but I mean, even in the midtones, we don't have that. Think of
No,
the tonal range. Each of the zones of the tonal range isn't just a flat uh, reflection of light. There's
right.
what
Like this
13 or
cloud, especially that cloud should be not that. It
yeah,
should be brighter than that
yeah,
to
and that
me.
alone can make the image. Also, I'll just mention it looks like, and we don't, this doesn't happen in competition, but let me just do something here. Whoops.
There is banding in it, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
seeing it
I see
too.
that now. We usually don't enlarge. There's a big spot right there. Don't do the whatever you
Oh,
want to
the
call this,
beveled.
the beveled contouring for
Yeah.
you'll get dinged on that one real fast for competition or
Um,
hanging on the wall, selling it to your clients. Absolutely. But for your
And and
competition.
and to get rid of banding, guys, a quick way to do it is you can just duplicate the layer and add a little bit of noise to the layer, Photoshop noise. It's very
Yeah.
simple, just 0.5 we'll usually do it, or 1, no more than that. You won't even see it on the image, and you certainly won't see it in the foreground, but it will give enough information in the sky, digital information to get rid of that banding. It's just a trick.
Yeah, that's a good one because you
There are
aren't
other
going to
ways
see.
too, but that's a quick, easy way to get it done.
And it works too. I've done that all the time.
Absolutely.
Learned that from Kevin, by the way. So cool. Anything else you want to add, Jeff?
Well, when you cropped it, I like the crop better, but I got to tell you, I do like these upper clouds up here.
Okay.
And if you're not if you're predisposed to doing any work in Photoshop, I would just drag them down.
Sure. Good point.
Pick these up, drag this top right here, and just bring it down. and then just, like gently erase it, like get it so it can't be seen. But I like the shapes here. But I think they're too much, they're too high.
It's almost enough of a division here that makes them almost another realm of this. So yeah, so you're kind of bringing them back so they're incorporating into the background of the scene and not above the scene.
Yep.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Our next image is called Tongue Twister, Desolation Detail. Go ahead, say that one fast 3 times. Desolation Detail. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount of detail in here.
Yeah. I'm kind of sucked into this these valleys down here in this shape that leads me back. It's a wonderful meandering kind of path that leads me back up into these mountains up here, which is a great entry to this image. Again, this is one of those ones where there's no clear subject. I think, the whole thing really is, but if there was a subject, I would say it would be more in this area right here, frankly, these shapes here. And that's almost worthy of a square crop just there, just those shapes alone, without any of these cliffs in the background. I feel like these are quite flat feeling back there. And then overall, it feels a little crunchy to me.
So maybe a little too much on the sharpening?
I think so, yeah.
Just something like this more?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's very contrasty, it's almost like a high-key film noir. It's so contrasty feeling. Super dark blacks in here, which is fine. I like it. But the transitions are just they're just crunchy.
Well, look at the time of day.
It's tough. Tough
and I'll
time.
ask Jeff, since you've been judging for quite a while, like I have, whether that's a rule or not, it's a good rule of thumb. Anytime you have something that's shot with really bright light, high shadows, it's normally not going to score well, especially on a landscape. Very general comment, but
Yeah, well, basically, like my rule of thumb on it is if other people are around that aren't photographers, it's probably not the time to shoot it. Like
that's good.
If there's tourists around, it's probably time to just go enjoy, shoot infrared or something, do something different because the lighting is tricky. I mean, I think that so I recognize that as things get further, things get lighter, but this area is absolutely no lighter in actuality than this area right here. Right?
Correct.
It's the same. The sun is the same distance from the cliffs here to these cliffs. So I recognize again, I get that this mountain, the La Salle's here in the background, might be slightly lighter, but the grim reality is that this shouldn't be that much lighter than this. And so I think that this is an image you need to start over again in the processing. It's just way underprinted, and it's too crispy to me to pull off that high key pen and ink feel. It doesn't have a softness to it. It's all hardness. Desolation detail. What it was, desolation detail.
Yes.
And so you're showing detail, so there's no softness here. So I think also this might benefit from flipping. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know which La Salles are which way, but it might benefit from it because all these lines tell me to get out of the frame. Everything's sending me out. Yeah, I mean, that to me, now we're leading into these hooks.
Right, that makes sense.
And I think you want to leave this whole toadstool right here. I think it's stronger this way. I photographed the scene a lot and I couldn't tell you which way is which. I mean, I have to really think about the mountains,
You'd probably know what mountains they were because you've been there, but you wouldn't be able to necessarily identify that it is reversed.
This area over here is doing nothing. for me.
Which area? Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you would have to do this the same sort of dodging and burning to bring a funneling of the eye.
Yeah,
In
or
my
a
opinion.
different crop even.
Yeah.
Well, so I was gonna say, if we were to crop
Like a
it
square
differently,
crop.
if we crop it differently, do we lose the mountains back here? Or, because I mean, if we bring it in like here,
Hmm. Well, I'm not, yeah, I don't know. I think it needs some lead in. I'll tell you what, I know we got the music telling us to stop, but the
it's just a warning. It's a 2-minute warning.
one thing you could do with this is to just squash it a little bit.
So just
Instead
reform
of
it.
crop, just actually free transform it down, 10%. And again, I'd be shocked if someone to be able to tell you, well, that cliff, appears slightly squashed. Like we're trying to get these mountains a little lower.
Yeah, I went the wrong way. Sorry.
Yeah, just back out of the crop for a second, and let me just, if you don't mind. So if you just Control T and drag the bottom up just a little bit, or Command T.
So you're talking about cropping into it some more?
Yeah, not even cropping, just you have to make the layer editable.
Oh, it wasn't.
I keep going, keep going. Like that's probably the max that you could do. That's too much, right? But 10% or so. And then all of a sudden that now it starts compressing the area that Kevin's talking about.
Well, kind of gives it a little bit more of a depth feeling too.
Yeah.
Here's before and then here's after. Yeah, this is a tough area here to know what to do with it. You lose mountains or you lose canyon. Okay, we got to move along, guys.
Yep. Thanks.
No, I don't say that to have you. Don't hesitate to say
No.
people would
I
rather.
mean, thanks for seeing the image. That's cool.
Absolutely. Doolittle's legacy. Wow. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, can you bring it up a little bit in size? Thank you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
this is
I don't have
cool.
that middle range easy enough.
Yeah, I'm seeing I think there's a really nice quality of light and texture across this plane. And I feel as if the maker has given us taken a layer, copied the layer, and added some, I'll call it bokeh, but I mean there's some problems in this background. I like this black and white. There's a problem for me here.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Bring it up a little bit closer, please. And like the depth of field is wrong, right? There's the tire, this tire, I'm not sure what's going on there, but it falls off so fast. I just go back to here.
Kind of emulate. It looks like it's been cut out, is what it looks like.
Yeah, there's some problems in the sky as well. It's that the eye, it's not a straight line of depth of field like this. It's like the depth of field goes to this one spot right there, and then it misses like 30 feet of depth of field.
I see
So
what you're
it's
saying.
disconcerting.
Well, yeah, so it looks like from right back here, this area just behind the plane is the same sharpness as back here and way back here.
Yeah, miles away.
So it's not like it's a gradual fall off
Right.
depth of field. Yeah. Kevin, what do you
It's
want to add?
unfortunate because when the plane first popped up, it's striking right out of the gate. I think it's just because of the contrast, the way the maker has, maybe selected around the plane or whatever, however they handled that and processed it in different light. It's potentially, I don't know if the background has been replaced. It could have been.
Right.
there's a chance that it was. I'm not sure. But like you guys were saying, it's all of the depth of field from here all the way to infinity is the same, it seems like, and that's unusual feeling. And then the sky, again, the clouds are quite flat in comparison to the light that's on the plane.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Is it looks like the background could, if the background had more,
Yeah,
even just more contrast, just
yeah,
the clouds would seem a little bit more have some depth to them.
yeah. And then this issue here that you guys were pointing out is definitely a problematic area. And then underneath these wings here too. Um, I'm really loving the concept and the idea.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to be revisited.
Little things like I love this kind of thing when you take an animal or some object and we see it with full wings or a full spread of wings of the bird or whatever, but cutting into it like this for little things like this land or whatever this is on the edge of the wing right here, I maybe would just crop in inside of that just to not
Yeah, yeah,
pull attention out there, but a minor thing, but it's really powerful piece when it first comes up, that initial
it
impact,
is. Yeah,
but that background does fall off
yeah.
all too quickly. But I would say maker, try this again, but however you've done the background, if it's the real thing, just even a little contrast in that background. Even if you cut the plane off the background and then adjust the background accordingly, so it's the real background, that's fine too. Or if you drop something in, it just needs a little bit more. Because if the background had more contrast, we wouldn't feel this lack of this quick fall off as much of depth of field.
Yeah, and the problem is once you start adding contrast into these clouds, it really starts distracting from the plane itself.
That's
It's almost like this
exactly.
needed to be shot on a crystal clear day or a really super gloomy day, either or.
Well,
Uh,
and if you go a step further, if it's something where the background has been selected from a different source,
yeah,
pick a more plain background.
yeah, yeah.
Let there be a runway or something out there, even over mountain range, but maybe no clouds or wispy clouds or something, so it doesn't take away from the aircraft
And I
itself.
realize, we are, we many times don't have opportunities to go reshoot things.
Yeah.
You may not be able to scout this. This may have been on a vacation somewhere, but imagine how much different the lighting on this would be and how much prettier it would be with a giant softbox in the sky on a white sky day. It would have been, you
Yeah.
wouldn't have these hard shadows on the ground and you would have a nice palette, I think, to work with, a palette of light that would be much easier to shape in post.
Exactly. And then of course, makers or everybody listening is, I hate to say we're being tough on it, but it's these little things for competition. To
Yep.
if somebody is this a privately owned plane, the maker probably absolutely love this
Oh my
image.
God. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, I certainly would. But just going into competition, these are the things that we know judges are going to say. And even again, minor thing, the white key line, it works in terms of the light, the black and white and light dark, but I would maybe even make that key line, tone it down, make it a little thinner. Looks like it's probably, I don't know, 8, 10 points. Just little stuff like that that take away from the it's being noticed that strongly.
Yeah, definitely drop the opacity.
Of the key line. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
About
yeah.
half, actually.
Probably 50% would probably be good.
Yep.
Okay, so next image is called Escape. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna sound like Mr. Flip It, right? But
No, because that's exactly what I saw too.
Really?
you know,
God, you guys, I don't
And
I don't buy into
Kevin's
that.
not, yeah,
I
Kevin's
don't buy
not.
into that at all.
well, let's see it. Yeah, absolutely. The line leads right to the subject matter. It's like it's a street sign that says, like right now, everything you see this. Oops, sorry, I'm in a line. Hang on a second. Well, I mean, it's my opinion. I don't mean that you're wrong, Kevin. I mean, right here,
Oh, right.
there's
Yeah.
this big open area that's featureless, right? It's snow. And of course it's featureless. It's not a particularly bright sunny day. There's very little texture. I mean, the texture's there, but the light doesn't illustrate it.
Right.
Sure.
When you flip it, everything points to what we're here for.
I agree with that. Kevin, what's your thought? Why are you not?
Well, I mean, the line, but it's the whole reading left to right argument that we all come back to. I guess it just depends on how you look at things. I mean, we can't have everything go left to right in this world, and so I enjoy seeing things the other way. Um, I think it's fine this way. I do agree in this particular image that it probably does work better this way because of this expanse of white. But I would probably do other things to mitigate that. Um, Compositionally, the line is strong and that's who we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. And this way is very strong, no doubt about it. It's right out of the corner. Boom, boom, boom. No doubt.
Would you bring this side in a little bit more? And then
Maybe.
it's
I mean, you could put him uncomfortably close to the edge. Let's see what that looks like.
hang on a sec. Well, it's like that one we looked at the other
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
We
I mean,
took that.
sometimes they work when they're really uncomfortably close.
I mean, even I'll clip off that little bit of land up there.
That is very uncomfortably close. I would open up a little bit. That one we worked on the other day that was right up on the edge, it felt better, but that one I think needs to be, yeah, that land. Ugh, that little dip in land right there is the problem when we do that, isn't it?
This makes it a little more comfortable with where the subject is. I don't mind, but
It does.
it's still an awful. I mean, you can't really tone this down too much more before you start having I mean, the gray sky is acceptable, but when you start getting snow, that's all this deep a gray. You're starting. It's not. There's a real fine line there where it starts getting to look like it's been overworked.
No, it was tricky, tricky lighting.
Yeah, you got to be careful on that one.
You could also, I'm sorry, Kevin, were you done? I didn't mean to
Yeah, I
interrupt.
was just about to say what strikes me about this image is the similarity and contrast on this with him there. The white and the white and the blacks and the blacks, the contrast similarity is just striking between those two elements.
So you're saying it's a
So
good thing.
it is, yeah, it's well seen by the maker in the field. So I commend the maker on that for sure.
So it's pulling it together is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, do me a favor, would you crop it out? Is this the original crop?
No, the original is, hang on, where am I? Here's the original here.
So flip it if you could. Make the layer editable and squash it a little bit, just a little bit. I want to compress this line a little.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Oh yeah, right there. And then let's you see what I'm saying, right? Like
No, I do get that. Yeah.
compressing that line really, I think it makes this even work better.
It creates some depth, more depth in the scene because we've got this big, almost a flat plane right here.
Yeah,
And
it gets rid of a lot of it, or
Yeah.
I'm visually thinking. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you couldn't crop it, somewhere here. I think this is a great leading line, but I want to see creating that sense of what's the word looking like, Kevin, you just used it, like that uncomfortable,
Right.
like
You
something
come
like that.
even more.
Yeah, maybe you just take this little piece out in Photoshop.
The little
Sure.
turnbuckle there, yeah.
Maybe I think you could also burn this a little bit to point, just a little bit. You could burn this a tiny bit, but you can move the viewer through the frame.
You could add a gradation of density from darker to this color. Just do a gradation from solid to
Sure.
nothing. Just ever so slight. I mean, you're probably talking 5% or less.
5%, yeah,
So
because
it's
you don't
just-
want to see it.
Yeah, it's going to go maybe in this tone, but it's going to be so gradual over this distance that it's just going to naturally create this path from fence to subject. Because I like this little piece of land, and this you can see the trail. This is almost pointing back at the subject. Like if I wander over here, oh yeah, I got to go back over here, and keeps us in line there. Cool stuff. We got a couple ideas there for you, Maker. Okay, let's see. I could hit the button. There we go.
You can do it, Jeff.
I know. This is called Etched in Silence.
I'll jump
Yep.
in on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm normally not a huge fan of a white vignette, which is what we have on this image.
This is very
But it works.
1960s.
It works here, and I like the center. I like the center composition. I almost feel like it's just slightly off center to the right, and I want it. I want it actually now dead center. Um, yeah, like it just feels like it needs to move just a little bit to the left. The tree does, you know.
There's center right there.
Yeah, so it's,
Good
yeah,
eye, man. That's close. Good eye.
it is. Yeah, it just needs to ever so slightly move to the left, and it would be a dead center composition, which would really work well in this image because we have enough of off centering happening elsewhere, you know, with the
Right.
shapes that are happening. And I do like the white vignetting is working for me on this image. I might want to drop the density of the tree just a little bit in certain areas just to help differentiate it a little bit, but we don't want to do too much because it would take away from the foggy feel.
Okay, good point.
Yeah. So we don't want to add too much dark blacks in there because fog takes that away.
Right.
We need to allow that to stay away in this. This is a really close image. I like it.
Jeffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, I like it too. In line with what Kevin was saying, I think that the whole thing needs to shift 1 or 2 degrees to the left. Right? This tree is cool, but it needs to be like, to me, it's a natural tree. But if it was standing exactly straight up and down, it would give a real sense of endurance. You know, like it's not only just surviving, it's exactly thriving, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do like, so I agree with Kevin that I'm not generally fond of white vignettes. It doesn't mean I can't, like, I like this line much better than I like this line. And so I think I would be inclined to bring this vignette, and I want to see this mountain, I mean, trail off and just leave at the end versus leaving right here.
Yeah.
I like this buildup, and I like this curve, but I want to see this trail off. I don't need to see the end here. I want to see it be a little more mountainous.
Okay. Kevin, you started to add something else there? Or?
No, I'm agreeing with that as he's speaking. I think what he's saying is you have this white vignette that's coming in here, and he wants to see the mountain kind of trail off onto the edge there a little bit more. Is that what you're saying, Jeff? I feel like
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it the lead in. But I wanted to lead out slower because it comes in at 5% here and it's dropping out at like 10%. Like I want to see it like leave at 3%, you know, like so that there's like the drama of lead in and then a slow burn on the way out.
Gotcha. Question came to my mind, Jeff, when you were talking about the tree. Are you agreeing with Kevin that the tree should be centered, or were you talking about the tree should be straighter up and down?
I think I would contend both.
Okay.
Like, yes, I think the tree should be centered, and I think the tree should be straight up and down. It comes off. It's not. It's like it needs to rotate the tiniest bit, right? Just to get it to rotate.
He's like 3 degrees.
Yeah, like, exactly. And then it looks like it's a strength issue.
I got you.
Like the tree is about strength. It didn't just survive, it thrived.
And when you put it in dead center composition, you're making a statement about it.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you. Okay.
We didn't even comment on the presentation, so it must have been great.
Yeah, no issue there.
Yeah, it's basically, I'm just looking at the thumbnail again. It's just white with just a black 1 or 2 point key line, just enough to give it some division. Okay, Etched in Silence. That's the wrong one, guys. You've already seen that.
I don't like it at all.
I should reverse it and show. This is a different one.
Are you kidding me? Center composition is terrible.
I know,
Yeah.
man.
This
And
is where
all
stupid
white.
judges.
Come on. Okay, here we go. First light of the morning. This is where I occasionally can't change the tool in Photoshop. That's right, I'll go here. No? Every once in a while, Zoom does this to me. It locks in a tool.
Yeah, you're on your pen, I think.
No, I was.
Oh,
So I'm in Photoshop. There we go. I'm in Photoshop, but sometimes it won't let. While we're in Zoom, it won't let me change tools once in a while.
I gotcha.
Yeah. No worries. We'll just crop it out. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been, as you guys, have you been struggling there? I've been taking it in.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I've been taking it in. Yeah, it took me a minute, but I just noticed the house in the back there,
Right.
which is nice. So I've been exploring the image. It's really it's a really lovely scene. The cloud. These are like the chef's kiss here when you have these kind of clouds there, just sitting so low like that. Really, really love it. And this reflection in the water is working well for me where it's positioned. I feel like the whole thing. We just said on the last image, the centering works, and I know we're not supposed to compare images, but to
Here we
me,
can.
it feels a little too centered. This does. For that particular image, and it's a lovely scene, and I don't have a lot of negative things to say about it other than those things, and then I would eliminate these clouds here completely. They're not working. That feels a little more comfortable already. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
nice triangle between the mountain, the reflection, and I would lighten up the barn a little bit so you have that eye movement going.
Yeah, I would if you could. I don't it wouldn't be necessarily natural to get light down in there though. That's the problem. I
It
was
would have
thinking
to be
about that as
very,
well.
very subtle, very
It
subtle.
would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because you have some nice lot of triangles going on here in this whole composition that I
Yeah.
think are going to help you. And of
I
course,
mean, I'm really trapped my eye is really trapped in the lower half of that image, and I'm not sure that's where the maker wants me to be.
with the water.
Yeah.
Well, let's try something here since we can do these things. I know the reflection is part of it, but how about if we make them?
Not always. I don't have to be. That's the thing.
No, but I'm just saying the maker probably wanted
Yeah,
part
I
of it.
get
In
it.
this case, let's make the mountain be the only focal point. Now you've got nice lines coming in from
Yep.
the curve of the
That works better for me.
creek here. And they all lead towards the mountain. Jeff, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing about the cropping of that. I like the color that's happening there, but the lining up of the peaks was problematic, right? Because for me, because oops, yeah, there we go. When you line up these these peaks, it's like an open book, right? Like it's like one side of the page and the other side of the page, and so it doesn't move me. It wasn't moving me through, so I'm really appreciating that shape. That's when we crop out the reflection, which I think is beautiful. But when you squint your eyes, you see the sky and this. We don't spend any time, in here, and so that's my concern. Look, I don't know. You're gonna kill me, but I'd say, look, can I see it flipped?
Well, yeah, that's what we do here. We flip things. Flipped is an upside down flip, or
No, flip isn't horizontal.
well, if we go back to one of those other crops, I think this works because now we have a nice kind of a sweeping line coming in here.
Yeah, I was liking this line. I do like, you know what? I maybe I like it better because it brings me back into the frame of this red house.
You like this better or the other way?
Yeah, I think I like this better. Normally, I like the light coming from left to right by nature, because
Right.
we were talking about that earlier. The thing about the left to right business is that culturally speaking, here we are.
Yeah.
We're all like, we're not judging in Israel, for instance, right?
Right.
So that's a human nature to every juror. So to fight it, there's going to be a compelling reason. And this coming in like this now brings me a zigzag that I think is potentially stronger.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. That does look a little more inviting from this curve of the water coming in than what it does up there in the mountain.
Not saying that's the answer, just saying that's initially. And I agree that this needs to be popped out a little bit.
Yeah, the house.
Yeah, that's also beautiful too. I've just dropped the blacks, keep the whites up a little too much, but yeah.
These would have to come way up in value.
So I can bring with the blue slider, I can bring those clouds up quite a bit here.
There you go. Yep.
What comes off is that I saw this section here and I thought, can't tell if it's been burned down.
Yeah,
But
it feels that
feels
way.
like there's a glow in the trees here.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
want to tell the maker to watch that.
Even in color, did you see that?
Yeah, in color, I saw that this section right here was
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
too deep.
Yeah, that ridge line of those trees has a highlight or halo around it that kind of says we've burned this down.
Well, even in this, there's a halo right around here too, up in here.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing too I would watch that I've heard a lot is when you take like the background, the back of the scene or clouds, you go deeper, they're going to pick up a blue. They're going to have a little bit of a natural, but this I think is too far. I think it tips off a judge. White snow and the shadows, and that is going to be a cool tone, but not that far. It looks, and it just says, "I burned you down."
Yeah, for sure. And you could also reduce the saturation a little bit just with a saturation tool.
Which is probably better, right, to do that than to make them lighter.
Yeah, just reduce it a little bit so that it wasn't quite as blue. Beautiful scene.
Okay. Now we have. I got a lifetime of stories. I'm sorry, Maker. I've got a lifetime of stories. Do you need to see this larger, Jeff?
Yeah, you could bring it up a little bit. Yeah, I know that this is his face here, so I'm seeing a lot of differing color in this image. I'm seeing a strobe color here, and all of this is what feels like tungsten light, or not quite tungsten, maybe. I mean, this is not the same color as this. Let me start that again.
Yeah, no,
The
I got
lapel is a different color here, these two spots. And that's going to be problematic. This little light spilled off. It's almost like there's an can light or incandescent light somewhere in here. There's magenta right here,
yeah,
right here. So there's a lot of color issues.
not up here, right?
Yeah, that I think, and in fact, all this section went blue. It's like there's a lot of colors I can't quite figure out. Shirt went yellow here. Feel the skin tone is a little yellow on top. I can kind of get by that, but I do see what feels like in this plane to be daylight. So these things are all they're not falling under the problem of, is the image compelling? It's technical excellence. If you make this image black and white, we don't see that color. Like, that's one of the benefits. We see problems. We still see problems in the file. There's something going on in some blotchiness in the file, a little bit of retouching here, and some dandruff or whatever across it. And then these lines right here, I think are far too striated to, like, they cut
Asking for
through the
attention.
head.
Yeah.
Mm. What about the reflection on his temple here, this area here?
Yeah, that kicker, I can't tell if it's a sunspot or a cancer spot or something on his. Uh, I don't mind the reflection because it shows depth,
Okay.
but there's something there. And to that point, there's something here. It might be in his skin. And then look at the shape that the lighting is causing. The shadow. Do we see that there? That little like double bump?
Yep.
Yeah, look at the shadow from the glasses from the kicker light. Looks like the kicker light might be too low,
Yeah, it
which
could
is
be.
causing this. Well, you might, that's just the shape of his nose. It looks like maybe there's a little mole or some growth right there. So that's just indentation. So I think that's normal for
Could
him,
be.
maybe something to remove or soften. So not, maybe make that shadow be a little more blended and get rid of that just for competition's sake.
I think his pose is strong and his eye contact is really great.
Great
Agreed.
expression. Yeah, great story there.
Yeah, it's really great expression.
So let me ask you, Jeff, as a judge, when you see a portrait and there's some reflection in the lens on the iris or on the pupil or whatever part of the eye, what's your thoughts there? Should that be removed? Are you okay with it being more natural? What's your thoughts?
No, I'm okay with it because it comes off as being natural. I'm not sure why. Can you zoom in a lot on the eyes for a second, just so I can?
Sure.
It's much later here for me, so my eyes are getting tired. So yeah, I don't know what's happening here with it. Like this eye shouldn't be reflecting a circle here.
Well, that looks like the softbox to me.
It does, but it's not curved. Like it's a full circle. I just can't understand it like from a distance,
Interesting.
Do you see what I mean? This
Yeah.
one looks like a box, and this looks like a big umbrella. I can't explain it, but when we get down to it, I don't mind it. I think the light is slightly too far back. Like I'm talking 3 inches too far back on this subject. So it needs to come in a straight line forward, and that in this reflection here would move more to the center of the eye a little bit.
Gotcha. Look at that. We'd stop right on the I think it's the first one of the night. So we're about halfway done, guys, just so you know.
We're cruising.
We're cruising. This is called Making the Evening Rounds. Jeff, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, can you zoom in on the bird a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a cool image here. I think you can zoom back out. Thank you. I don't need to see all of this. I'm not saying I don't want to see any of it, but I'm not sure where the cutoff is. This is as sharp as this bird. I'm sorry, I'm using a pointer and you can't see it move. The bird is beautifully sharp, and this is as sharp. But if we really want the eye to look here, we need to not show as much sharpness on the bottom.
So you're just suggesting just to crop up to get rid of some of that?
Yeah, because it's going to be one of those things like if this is sharp and so is the stuff on the bottom, the bird really stands out for sharpness when he's the only thing besides the stock to be sharp. I think. I won't know.
I see what you're saying. I agree. This could, for the subject matter, it's as pretty as it is, but you could even come in like this.
Yeah. Well, when you do that, I feel it takes away its landing zone. Like I think it needs a little bit to know that it's moving somewhere, That's cool. That's a little bit of a strange strong, like a diagonal that's happening here. And I actually like that this isn't straight up and down. I like the lilt that's happening here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up.
No, that's why we hired you, man. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, I think everything's been said really. I'm also enjoying are these like little flies that are around in here, you know? Um,
Hard to
or
say.
is it
It could be
pollen that's
yeah,
blowing off of this? I don't
probably
know.
shaking off of it or something. Is
Yeah, which it's kind of cool. I'm actually enjoying all that. Normally I would be like clean all that up, but
Well, it gives a little bit of an action
I
feel.
think it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the crop that you were going for is good too. There's a lot of interesting crop options with this. You could put, you could have it where you were. You could have him be, very far right in the frame and then have a lot of negative space. I mean, excuse me, far left of the frame and have a lot of negative space to the right, which is kind of an uncomfortable, but it shows where he came from and to where he's landing, which I think is what Jeff was saying. So it's an unusual crop, but I would even crop in from the left even more and put that even further over. I mean, it's just one to look at. It's a interesting kind of a rule breaker. But there are a lot of crop options with this particular image, and I think the depth of field works really well on it. Really soft background, birds
Nice
tack
and
sharp.
creamy.
I'm sorry, what was that, Jeff?
It's nice and creamy.
Yeah, it's great.
And you also may try flipping it at some point.
Yeah.
No, it's getting to be, do you just want to see it flip because we can?
Yeah.
Well, it's always about the lines for me, right? It's
Oh, no
always,
kidding. Yeah.
for me, always like, do the lines lead me to the image or do they lead me out of the frame? It's just an
Right.
art thing, right? It could work, it could not. Like you never know. I mean, I think that's better too. It's like the bird's been thrown like a knuckleball into this thing. So if you flip it again, you know, everything's leading to the culmination, especially if you crop it in that.
So how about if we flip it and then do a tighter crop? Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just looking at too is, so it's interesting. What do you guys think of and I'm only bringing it up because nobody's talked about it. What do you think of the mat and the key lines and all those things?
I don't care for it. I don't care for that style mat. I would go for a solid kind of a gray blue, I think.
Yeah, I think as you know how I feel about the extra key line,
Yeah.
makes us look. I do think the image is compelling enough that I saw it and thought, it's not my taste. It's a little dated as a presentation. It's a choice that we have. And I don't know that it's needed.
Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, I do think it definitely does have that feel of we saw this kind of stuff 20 years ago when it was popular, but it's not bad, it's just maybe not ideal. Okay. Mountain Majesty. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, beautiful image. I really appreciate the striking lines that are coming up here. A little dead center. I want to shift it over. I feel like these trees, although they're in light, I think they're blooming out of, not out of key, but out of the highlights are just blooming out.
Yeah, a gamut. Yeah.
And I like what's happening here and here. It's just all a little bit bright.
I think this image could go for even just a little bit of this. And just
The
watch.
sky definitely can come down.
Yeah.
The sky up top could definitely come.
Do a gradient on that just to bring that dark down, a little bit of clouds. Watch this.
Yeah, and then you could go in and paint with your burn tool, burn in some of these the depths on some of these clouds, just to bring some depth out. Lightly
Exactly.
burn, just
Yeah.
lightly. These shadows are wonderful.
Aren't they
down
nice
here.
down there? Yeah, in the meadow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are great.
Agreed.
Really wonderful shadows.
Yeah, like
So
Jeff said, watch.
if you were cropping it to get away from the dead center, I would crop in from the right, not the left, because I'd want to keep these shadows. Actually,
So
that
say
would
again,
put,
crop in from the right.
yeah, and that would put the mountain peak more to the right. That might make Jeff happy because it's leading from the left to right now.
It's what makes art happy.
What makes art happy.
Did you bring that in even more?
I feel, yeah, maybe. I feel like it's your contrast addition is a little too much, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot down in here now with that addition of contrast, but I think what you were going for here looks really great up in the sky. So
Yeah,
selective
I've kind of shown.
contrast.
I would do this for the sky to
Yep.
make sure that the mountains and the trees, and this needs to be darker, but this is good density right here. But I would
Yep.
definitely go in to these white, um, blown out highlights of the trees there and clone them out or something and watch this area because this is something that in a competition, the judges, that little white spot there,
Mm.
judges are going to definitely make a comment about because they
I
don't
mean,
look.
this is one of those images, right? You're not going to get it done with sliders. You're going to have to go in and do things selectively with the brush tools
Right.
And get it done that way.
Exactly. And I left the green goober on there. Sorry.
Yeah, and little things too, like that teeny tiny little cloud right on the edge there. Those are
I
things
just saw that. Just saw
you don't
that.
even notice until you print it and hang it on your wall, and you're like, dang, I should have removed that.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a couple of, I won't say they're dust spots or sensor spots, but like this little cloud right here. And this is just being very nitpicky, but you see this little cloud right here, it's got a
Yeah,
dark center.
yeah.
I'd get rid of that kind of stuff. This little dark thing here, it's just pulling the judge's eye unnecessarily. I mean, you got to stop somewhere. This is fine. This is fine. Yeah, get rid of this. But some little things like that, like this is even maybe it's okay, but it's questionable. If it pulls your eye out there, then yeah, get rid of it. It's easy enough to do because this is not your subject matter. This is your subject matter. So it's little things like that that you want to look at and make sure that it's not, what's my point of interest? What's the reason I did this shot? What are the leading lines? And then if anything else that kind of goes against that is minor as it may be. Other little thing we talk about the gray. I don't mind the gray stroke, but we've lost it here in the clouds, same color. I can promise you a judge will knock that down. So either make this some other color, make it more white, should work fine. Maybe even a little thinner, reduce the opacity, or just we do the detached, which is not easy my favorite either, but you can see how the stroke has been lost here and here. I can promise you a judge in a competition will make a comment about that.
Yeah, detached stroke on this would work better, but it would need to be like a charcoal gray, so it just almost
Right.
blends into the mat.
Just
Yeah,
very,
and half the size and half the opacity, and it looks like it's rounded as opposed to squared.
the corner
It does
does.
kind of, yeah.
I can't quite see that. Again, sorry.
Nope. Yeah, it's a rounded. So just watch your,
Yeah.
what's the
Do it
word?
Yeah.
When you go to the stroke, there's three settings. It's the middle one. I forget what the word is, but it makes it a square corner.
Inside or outside, I forget which one it is.
Yeah. I think it's inside because it's actually taking the stroke inside from the image out instead of like this is balancing both. When it's square on the inside, when it's round on the outside, whatever the thickness is, half of that thickness is on the print and the other half is outside of it. Okay, good stuff, guys. Thank you. Then we have an image called On the Edge of Vision.
Good grief.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to. That's as big as I can get it without going off screen. Jeff, can you see it okay from what you said?
Yep. Yeah, this is fantastic. I really appreciate this. The lower left, sorry, I forget I got a pen here. This is a little dark.
Okay.
I'd like to see this gradation be handled a little bit lighter in that area here. I don't mind this one because it keeps me in. I don't mind this one, it keeps me in. There's something going on right here in which there's a line in the background. I'll take my drawing out here. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe it's there's something. I would look at whatever is this appearance is. You see there's like a triangle of gradation right here.
Let me look. I'm gonna change size. I see it more. Oh, I see what you're talking about. It goes way over here.
Yeah, look at that because there's a shape that's happening in the background. It's a little grainy, like a little too grainy. And so I would look at that grain to see if there's anything else you can do, but it's really interesting, really beautiful image. And there's a dust spot or like what appears to be a dust spot right here.
Yep, I see that.
And like I'm going to tell you, you makers, for me as a juror, if there's a dust spot, 100 goes to 79. Like there's almost no recovering.
Yeah, and if there's one, the judges are going to look for more.
Yeah, and even if there isn't more, we'll find it.
Oh my God, Kevin, what do you want to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to speak to the overall idea of this and the brilliance of the lines and the shapes, the pattern, everything. It's remarkably seen. The way that this just moves through so beautifully here and then out. And I love the exit of light here. That's
That is
kind of
nice.
it's just a beautiful movement throughout the entire scene. I think Jeff spoke already to, the lower left corner, which I see as well. And I see this whole section up here, which is kind of really, really kind of blocked up and black. I don't necessarily mind it being solid black back there, but the fact that there's some other stuff happening nearby, it feels a little awkward to me. Guys, these are really nitpicky things. I do feel the grain, Jeff, that you were mentioning. And when Jeff Johnson first zoomed in on it, I noticed that as well. And I'm like, I hope that's on a separate layer so you can easily eliminate that. Because if you lock it in, it's really you're locked in. So if you're adding grain to an image, please always do it on a separate layer.
Good point.
But guys, it's just beautifully composed. You could almost even crop off a little bit, crop that whole right section off.
I was just going to ask you that
but I don't know. I kind of like the really wide also.
It's like a 4-to-1 ratio here, maybe almost.
It's 4-to-1, yeah.
Yeah. So if we crop it in a little bit, I mean, I like these lines like Jeff is talking about of the light. It just creates some feeling in the scene. So you're thinking about here, Kevin, or even farther?
Yeah, I mean, you could go into like right into there almost.
Yeah, it's nearly a Fibonacci, like a golden spiral.
Yeah,
there almost,
it is, isn't it? Good call.
That's so pretty where this comes up, guys. Right there, boom, just beautiful.
It does almost looks like a wave in the ocean.
Yeah, that's a stronger crop to me, I feel.
Before and after.
The other one is really strong too, guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. With the longer crop on this side, this gradation, when I say gradation, I mean value of light. I mean value as in actual architecture.
Right.
Really elongates the field and then mimics this line that's right here,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Both work really well to me. I think as presented, the maker clearly likes this crop, so I would say stick with it.
We slapped enough hands.
I mean, the other crop does work well, but this works great. Look at this section, and the noise and the sensor spots, and I think you got a great one.
All right. Good stuff, guys.
Tonality wise, it was great.
What's that, Kevin? I'm sorry.
Tonality wise, it was really great.
Oh, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good range throughout. Good. I think that was more great tonal usage of the tonal range as opposed to just high contrast.
Yep.
Okay, rapidly moving train. I'll go ahead and jump in. Um, First of all, the we talk about titles a lot, and I'll just hit on that one. When I hear that title, rapidly moving train, I'm thinking of that. Obviously, it's a still photograph, but I don't see this as a rapidly moving train. So it kind of what I always laugh about, but it's very true, and I know these guys will agree. We don't want the judges to have to think. We want to hit them in the face with a title that makes them go, "Yeah, that's it." And you've heard a couple times, "Wow, look at that." That's what we're looking for. Um, I noticed the tough one. The train feels like it's going uphill just a little bit. Minor details, but things like that, you just rotate it clockwise a little bit. I think you'll um, actually would be a yeah. Man, the tonal range, the contrast value throughout this is done so well with all you got bright highlights, the water, the edges of the rocks, all this stuff. Again, I'm telling you guys to use the pen. I should probably use it. But I mean, look at the highlights in the trees, the backlit on the evergreens. Look at the light on these rocks, just beautiful. Even the light on the top of the train is handled so nicely. The reflections, this could be toned down a hair, but not. But look how beautiful this is. Um, Beautiful lines, the train coming in, the curve of the river, the following lines there, the curves of all these rocks lead us right down the train. Even the right side of the trees angles lead us right down to the train. I think that's good. Maybe look at a different color matte. I don't, and it's hard because sometimes we'll go in and sample a color in the scene to get a matte color, even though it's in the scene. This olive doesn't really stand out. It's not really helping. Um, Even a tone like in the rooftop here, the train, or a gray in here, I wouldn't go with the red. Um, if you went with a green, green's tough. It'd have to be a dark yellowy green in order to make it work. So you could take from this and maybe go just a little deeper in that, but it's kind of asking for its own attention. Again, we talk about, I think there's a very subtle keystroke. Looks like 1 or 2 pixels, but we lose it like we lose it down here. Lose it all across the water. So either separate it or change the color, or like Jeff mentioned, don't do one. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, not a lot to add. I agree all of it with everything you just said. I think that I don't need to see this tree here. I think when you start adding color to the end, you're asking for the eye to move there. You know, like so when I
True.
cropped that out, and when I did this straight line, you know, trees, I know they can grow crooked, but they don't all grow crooked. And so this whole image is rotated like maybe 8 degrees. It needs to rotate clockwise just a little bit because it doesn't feel right. Something's not right. The other way. Yep. Keep going.
Hang on just a sec. Let me do what you suggested here. And I maybe even go about that far.
Yeah, and see how the trees now look correct?
Yeah.
And then I could bring a little off the top now.
Yeah, I just didn't crop it right there. Same with the bottom.
And I think that's already stronger.
Notice, Maker, I just brought this crop I brought the shadow line of the train into the corner there. Just kind of gives you an open kind of a feeling of coming into the scene.
Yeah, I think that works better.
More better, that's what we say here. It's more
More
better.
better.
Yep.
Kevin, what do you want to add?
You guys covered it. You guys covered it. The name is clever, rapidly moving, the rapids next to the train. That's
Right,
where it came from. It's clever, but it's like Jeff was saying at the top, it's one that the judges may not get right away. And so
yeah, it's close. The idea is great, but maybe a little different wording because if
Yeah.
a judge goes, "What?" and not because they're impressed by the image, but if they have to ask for the title again, or if they say, "Well, I'm not sure I understand," then you got problems.
Yeah, I was expecting like a train, like a speeding train, blurred or something like that. And then this
Right.
popped up, and I was a little confused at first until I realized, oh, there's rapids next to it. But
That's just
yeah,
human
you guys
nature.
covered it.
Yeah. Riverside Passage or something like, along
Yeah,
those
yeah,
lines.
because you're creating a story. So you're not necessarily, don't necessarily describe what's happening because we can see that. It's telling the story of why the train's there, why we're in this canyon, whatever, that kind of a thing. Okay, this one's called Remembering Winter. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I think this is solid. It's beautiful. I think it may be a little bit off the top. I do like the arches that are, oops, sorry, wrong tool. Stand by. Hold, please. I like these arches here that we see, but I wonder if it isn't better. I don't know that I need to see it. I'd have to see it crop, but what I don't like is I'm struggling with this open sky that brings me into these lines. I don't know that I need to see this whole section right here.
I agree. If we just come down like right about here, we still have the same lonely feeling
Right.
without, because that kind of pulls you up out of the scene with that much sky.
And it gave it too much of an opening, I think. Yeah, there it is. Or I think it's beautiful. How about that?
What do you think about, well, Kevin, go ahead and talk and I'll ask you the questions in a minute.
Um, yeah, that different crop worked quite well to me. I think the contrast is beautiful. The tonal range is spot on. I love the weather. Those gray, gloomy days are just asking for this kind of work.
Yeah.
You know, high contrast kind of scenes like this with snow and black trees, and that lonely bench sitting by itself really tells a good story. It almost felt a little like it was rotated clockwise, but that's just the curvature of that pond in the background. So now that
See what you're
I've
saying, yeah.
realized what it is, it's fine. Like the horizon does now look proper because the trees in the background are straight.
Right.
Yeah, what were you going to ask, Jeff?
The black mat.
Um, yeah, I didn't even really notice it. It doesn't bother me at all. You thinking it's too strong, maybe?
No, I'm actually questioning because when I first came up, I thought, oh, I think I would have gone for a mat that would be in the color of the sky and then just let maybe a black key line be that
Maybe.
definition. But I don't mind the black mat. Maybe it's a little heavy. But the story in this picture, in this bench, is just, I mean, you can picture an old couple or an old man sitting there.
Yeah,
Uh, just that's it draws you into that loneliness, that solitude that's there, and all the things. That little crop Jeff talked about right here, I think just eliminates enough of the empty space that pulls us in even stronger. I might go in little things like I might get the tool here, like I always say, I need to tell you guys to do. I think that's the wrong direction, Jeff. There we go. I might get rid of this little clump right here. There's a couple of black spots that are pulling my eye. Minor things. Um,
sure.
I know it's snow, but these spots, these gray spots here, they're snow close to the camera, but they kind of look like dust spots. Little things like that. I'd probably eliminate a few of those little things. Again, we're being very, very picky, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but these are the fine-tuning things that will get you up to that magical triple-digit score that we're looking for.
Well, and these are also the things, Jeff, that if you print this big and hang it on your wall, that you'll sit back and you'll look at one day and you'll be like, dang, I should have taken those out.
Isn't that true? When you think it's not that big a deal, but when you look at it larger, all of a sudden they're a lot larger than life. And
Yeah.
yeah. But Maker, I might try and make the mat in the same color as this, maybe the sky tone here in the middle, and just try and see what you think. The right now the stroke is not bad. It's pretty wide. Looks like it's could be 10, 15 points, and I don't mind it too bad. But if you go with a light gray, and the thing we always talk about is don't do a white mat because pure white is too much. But go with this light gray here. So it's basically it's opening up the whole image to continuing that feeling. Like it's just it makes it's gonna make the bench seem even smaller and more remote if this mat, I think, is the same tonal range as the sky. And then take your black stroke and or make it a black stroke and maybe cut it down to shoot 2 or 3 pixels, 4 pixels.
Hairline strokes are always the way to
Yeah.
go.
It's not bad here, but it's starting to push it a little bit. It's asking for attention. Too much attention.
Yeah, and lastly, I think your mat's too big.
Okay, that's
fat,
what I ask you. A little too thick?
Yeah, I think it's just it could be like somewhere in this range, like it needs to come in just a little, like we could lose 10% of the mat size, I think would be stronger.
So Maker, you could easily just take whatever layers you have, the image, the stroke and all that, and just transform them all out. So you get that, take this much away, move the edge of the image out to here. That's the easiest way to do that. Good stuff, guys. Thank you. All right. Then we have an image called Shrouded in Winter. For some reason, oops, let me get rid of the crop tool there. Here we go, stuck in the crop tool again. There we go. That takes it out of the screen, so we go back a notch. Jeff, what do you think?
I think it's beautiful. It's a little subtle in its tonal. There's like three zones here tops, and so I really like this, and it's mimicked by all these lines that are happening here.
Right.
I don't mind that this trails off here because I've got this one that goes all the way to the end. I would probably just try to illustrate this one here a little bit more, and then it needs a little more punch in the trees, just a little bit. I mean, maybe it's the whole image needs a little bit more punch. It's super subtle and beautiful, but it is so flat, and I'm concerned that it could easily be lost on a screen. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, it gives those trees a little bit more depth, doesn't it?
And it solves the angles I was talking about, right? Actually shows this one, it illustrates this one.
It also looks like it gave us a little more of a highlight and a shadow side to these hills.
Well, what's interesting too is there are shadows coming off the trees on the right edge.
Yeah, look at all that over
You
there.
see that?
Right.
And
Yep.
so
Yeah.
you would expect there to be a little bit more contrast in here than you would on a really snowy, foggy day. It clearly is some foggy day. There's fog settling on the trees, but there's shadows happening too. So
Right.
there's sunlight sneaking in there. I think that bump in contrast really brought it home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just adds a little bit of depth. Another thing,
Yep.
Maker, I think I like the stroke, the size, the color, but I would maybe in this case attach it to the image because it's giving us a couple of different lines here. Just drop
Yeah.
it to the edge of the image so it becomes a non thing.
That's a hairline stroke for anybody that's wondering what a hairline stroke is. That's what
Yeah.
that is. Beautiful thickness on that.
Beautiful image.
Yep, I like it.
Okay.
Well, that was easy.
Well, yeah, when people make these nice pictures. Solace in the Hills.
Anybody want to guess what I'm going to suggest?
Oh, yeah, I was going to do that myself. So
Upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. Crop it into a slimline vertical.
how about that? No.
Perfect.
Crop or flip?
Flip. Starting off, yeah, I mean, little boost of contrast in the hills. I feel like it could rotate actually a little bit. Like if you can,
Like
I
what?
feel like this line here needs to come in
Counterclockwise?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, counterclockwise, a couple degrees.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling too, Jeff.
You know, it's funny how we see these little things. I'll just point out here in a second. Yeah, this brings us nice. Actually, I might even come up on the bottom just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind this tree coming out here because this is kind of the base. These two trees right here, because of the contrast difference from them to the gold in the background, I would soften them, cut them out, get rid of them.
I'd clone them out completely.
Yeah, clone them out because I see you come in here, nice line, and the curve of the hill takes us up over the, even though the road goes this way, it still lets our eye wander up this way. But these are going, they're pulling my eye right up here. So I would get rid of that. Maybe even this one too. Minor things, but it gives us um, one of those things that pulls your eye unnecessarily. When your eye goes off that way, you ask yourself, is this helping my story? Does this help tell the story? No.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Kevin, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you guys covered it. It's beautiful.
I always have to do that. Whoops, where's
Yeah,
my...
you'd want to bump yellows up to bring those trees up to white. Yep.
Maybe not. Hey,
Well, you could do it selectively on those trees alone. So
you'd have to for sure.
yep. So you don't have, so it's not happening so much in the hills around it.
But I don't mind the fact we have this clump of yellow pulling us into that nice region right there. So
No.
you follow the road, you stop here a little bit and visit. I think that's cool. And you know it's cool, just as a little bit of a break, almost like I think it's almost becoming a focus point, is this green tree right here. He's not in the
Yeah.
group. He's crossing our line. He's green. Everybody else is gold and brown. He's saying, hey, look at me.
I'm not ready.
Good, bad, or indifferent, but it creates a story in there.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to change yet.
All right,
Not
yeah.
ready.
It's too early. I got things to do this summer.
So you guys go ahead. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna hang
That's
on.
right. Yeah, I'll see you later. Okay, that was cool. We now have one called Spirit of the Plains. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a beautiful capture of this bison, and his environment for sure. I'm feeling like we don't need so much of the bottom section of this.
Okay.
Yeah, like we could lose a lot of that actually. This feels like it.
You'd come in almost up to here, couldn't you?
Yep.
Because you got a nice balance now with the bison
Yep.
itself and the trees.
Power of three we talk about all the time. It's not just an art, guys. It's everywhere. And it's in nature. It's in life. It's everywhere. And now we have this nice triangle here that's happening on that power of three.
It's a tiny bit counterclockwise. I would twist it again, but
Yeah, it feels like it
Yeah,
needs
the
to
horizon
rotate a
isn't
little
straight.
clockwise. Yep. Um, so
would you be pulling the right side a little bit more too?
yeah, that kind of works, doesn't it?
I mean, you still have the feeling of the desolation of where it's at, the weather, the solitude. You get the balance of the three trees that are really taking over.
Yeah, I mean the triangle that Jeff was talking about earlier, you look at the triangle now and it's in that PowerPoint here, right? Of the composition. So it works well there. This cropping works well. I just feel like the bottom was just really heavy. It put the bison up too high. I feel like this places them better.
It kind of pulled your eye down away from the bison, I
Yeah.
thought too. Yeah.
I think tonality wise, it doesn't need any contrast, I don't feel. Maybe you could go in and add some selective burning in here just to kind of darken some of this grass up a little bit.
Would you lighten it up just a little bit?
No, I'd darken it. I would darken this area a little bit, maybe.
Oh,
You mean overall, the overall image?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe it does need to come up a little, but
just like about there.
yeah, I like that it felt gloomy.
True. All right.
Yeah, Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah, not much to add. I felt like since the snow is white, we know it's white, and
Yep.
it's coming off pretty gray. So I think it should be closer to white than gray, but I agree that it shouldn't be too much, There is a strange shadow here, like in the consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I were to hit this with a color picker, it wouldn't be even close to white.
No.
No, it wouldn't be. It's definitely in the browns. This is one of those images I think would be probably stronger in a black and white conversion.
Yeah,
Okay.
take out the color information so the eye, so we don't add to it, you know?
Yeah, that's so much stronger to me already.
That's about all we got in there is this.
I mean,
Yep.
my lane's always black and white anyway, as you well know.
Well, yeah, me too. Yeah. And then what happens now, it's pretty much a good tonal range. This corner a little bit, but this corner you see has gotten a lot lighter. You could do a simple gradation here just to match the rest of the sky, because right now these corners are the brightest areas and they very subtly, but if just a gradation that would make this, again, Jeff used the tools that I tell you guys to use. This corner right here and this corner right here are just a little bit lighter than the rest of the scene. This is all pretty even throughout here. So I would do a gradation tool and just bring this into the same tone so it becomes a non-thing.
Well, it's because it started off as had a white vignette around all of it.
That's true. I'll go back to the beginning here. And so that's the other thing too that we have. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that the corners have a brighter color. Again, this is I don't think I would suggest this is that beveled corner. Oops, wrong way, Jeffrey. See the lips, it's that beveled corner. Yeah, that's not you'll get dinged on that one in competition. Then as far as the matte goes, again, it's color coordinated, but this black of the liner and then this brown are asking for a lot of attention. This is very subtle. These two, yes, they're the same tones as in the image, but they're asking for a lot of attention because they're bolder. So matte, if you do a matte, make it be such a pretty song. Let's lose this much of the matte.
Yep.
And then make the lining the liner the key line just a line. Again, I would even suggest take this color into this brown tone here, and then just a dark brown key line of a couple of pixels. I think you'd have a wiener there.
I think unless the maker's married on the color version of this, I think this is a stronger image in black and white.
True. Okay. We're doing pretty well here, gang. So I hit the guy if I hit the right button. There's a tiny little X up there. Okay, we now have one called, hang on, it's a longer title. Stormy Autumn Morning. That's a tongue twister. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, beautiful. Appreciate the color that's happening here. I mean, what are you expecting me to say here, Jeff?
Well, you know what? That's what the maker likes to hear is like, okay, well, yeah. So what's your score going to be? 122. No, but
A lot of it leaves it out though. Like anything else, there's an underlying geometry and an underlying geometry of every image, right? And so if the image is asking me to leave, no matter what, we want to try to fight that, because if we leave, it doesn't score well. If we run out of the frame and we make a decision as we get to the end. And so I always want to keep people back in the frame. So I would try flipping this horizontally and seeing where we fall. I might be wrong.
Immediately when I flip an image, I test my comfort senses, and this immediately felt more comfortable for me.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I like the stormy. I feel like there's a dust spot right here. Might not be. But I would really watch that,
Yeah, that's one of those cloud things that it's hard to tell. But yeah, if you see that,
right.
deal with it. Yeah, it does look like a dust spot though, or a sensor.
I mean, you could even come down in here in some of these areas that are just down here in the tree. I don't know if those are rock outcroppings or whatever that are just like almost light traps, if you will.
Yeah.
Another
Um,
little. Oh, sorry, Kev. Go ahead.
but what I'm really enjoying about this is the color harmony of the blue, purple against the gold and yellow. It's just a beautiful contrast of color harmony.
Jeff in his pink straight line. You suggesting a crop?
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking that you could squash this a little bit too to get a little more drama out of it.
Oh, with the transform, yeah.
Just don't even crop it yet, just squash it.
Oops, I thought I did that.
You have to make it edit, double click on the layer.
Oh, I did. There we go. I just hit right. So even to go up in like something
Yeah,
like
right
this.
there.
Yeah.
I think it really elongated this line.
The ridge there. Yeah. Yeah. I was even looking at maybe even just making it just a little bit more, make those mounds just a little bit even stronger.
Almost uncomfortably to the top.
Yeah, then you're saying to the viewer that, hey, I'm important here.
I'm liking these lines too that are
Yeah,
happening.
that is cool.
As I just keep going, like, do you see how, like,
Yeah.
you coming up, down, whoops, sorry. You're coming in and circling back up around. Like, it's an interesting circle there. I was just realizing that at some point, if I keep drawing on this, it's gonna end up looking like, like that.
It's gonna end up looking like something my granddaughter would do.
Okay, sorry.
No. I think this is. Let me go back to the original. Sure, Jeff, hit the right tool. Talking to myself there. Um, this is cool. This is cooler. What do you guys feel about? How do you feel about when the shadows get to be this blue? Are you okay with that?
In this image, I am.
Okay.
I am okay with
Yeah,
it.
hit it, add a little, hit Control B and add a little bit of yellow. I just want to see what it does to all of the shadows. Please. Add a little bit of red and add a little bit of yellow. So it's probably a little
Yeah, I
too
kind of
much
think.
red.
What's that?
Probably a little too much red, but it is
See, I'm
on
kind
Zoom,
of
you
like.
know what I mean?
I kind of like how we've taken some of that cyan out of the shadows and created that neutral tone. It did kill the sky's blue, but I think it really brought up the foreground as being more. Let me show you before and after. This to me has kind of an overall blue cast to it.
Agreed.
Separated colors. Now the yellows and greens
Yeah.
stand out. The rocks look more rockish color. Rock-like
Mhm.
color, rockish.
Yep.
The sky you could go back in with a gradient and add a little bit of color if you wanted to, a little more gray, but this to me gives it more natural depth and the color jumps out and then the gray floats back a little bit more. A 4 afterwards.
Yeah, I see the blue cast in the foreground, especially.
When
Yeah,
you
it almost sounds like a cross-processed, cross-process E6 look there,
it does when you say, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a thought maker.
You
We now
color
have one
photographers.
called, what's that, Kev?
You color photographers.
Yeah. Sunflower. Jeffrey, think.
Yeah, I really love what's happening here. The only thing that jumped out at me was this upper left corner. It's not even a problem that it's so light, it's that it's out of color key. It's almost pure white. And the sun that's happening over the right shoulder of the flower, the sunflower, that makes sense that it's warm. So I'm trying to figure out why that area is so white. I
Yeah.
guess, this, sorry, I changed all my drawing around. This is out of color key right here.
Right. That could easily be toned down into these shades here,
Agreed.
like that, and blend in, not be so
I mean, because you could even paint it up in there.
right.
I mean,
Yeah, really cool. I like it a lot. I don't know about this leaf here,
Oops,
but
sorry. Oh yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. I really
You think
enjoyed the
that
color.
balances? You think that balances with the leaf in the top right that goes out of frame?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would actually wish this leaf was here to balance, right?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah,
But and I'm not sure I like the dead part of this leaf.
right.
I'm not sure. I'll reserve judgment.
yeah, I don't
Well,
hate that. I don't hate it as much as I want more breathing room on the side of this one,
Hmm.
right
that's
to the
true.
edge there. I feel like that could use a little more breathing room. I
The
could go
fact
either
that
way on that dead. I could go either way on the brown deadness of that leaf on the bottom right.
that one here.
Yeah, I could go
Trying to
either way
picture
on it.
if it weren't there, if you it was since you're painting it, you can do these things. Make that get rid of it from the stock right here. Just
Yeah,
to let this guy, I like this guy here coming up on it, let this go on. This one, if this either cut it shorter
yeah, I would just cut it shorter.
or paint it longer and let it go out like the other
Oh,
one.
mm,
So it's kind of giving you you've got three anchor points. There's your triangle that Jeff was talking
sure,
about.
yeah.
It comes back into that. How about the matte color? You guys good with that?
Didn't even notice it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's my
I didn't see
answer.
it.
People ask all the time, so I'm not making a
Oh,
suggestion.
it's
I'm just
great.
bringing it up.
Yeah.
I'm doing Rick's job tonight. Okay, we just got a few more here. The road that the road that chose me. If we can get somebody who knows how to read a sentence. The road that chose me. Jeffrey, what do you think?
Yeah, I really am appreciating all of this. And I know that, well, no, I don't know it. I hate when I say I know because I don't know. Obviously, this area here isn't getting the light that this area is getting. I don't know if this has been held down or not. I just can't tell, but it seems to be come off as a lot more orange than the yellow of these. And I think it would stand to reason that they'd be closer in tones. Like when I see this here in shadow, then so it's drawing me to think that this area here needs to be darkened. And here's what I'm getting at is if this was darkened, and like it's very easy to burn areas or darken areas down and see an increase in saturation. And so I would really watch that to try to get this. This looks like it's two different mountain roads. There's a mountain road over here that is primarily yellow, and there's a mountain road over here that's primarily orange. And I know it's not impossible for it to happen. It starts making me think what's going on over there.
Right.
So, and if I'm thinking about what's going on over there, I'm not understanding or appreciating this wonderful scene. Also, I don't think we need as much sky. Love the clouds, but I think you could bring this in across the top and bring it down to help us force it down a little bit. Force the eye down.
Below these or just right here?
Yeah, just right up to this, right up to this little mountain on the edge on the upper right. Yeah, somewhere right around there,
Okay.
I think.
So for what it's worth, because I'm a Coloradan and this is a natural scene. There are orange groves and there are yellow groves. This is getting strong sunlight. This is not getting bright. So that doesn't throw me for a loop because I've seen this. Now, orange is more rare than yellow, but it certainly happens. This area is just in a little bit of a shadow, so it is going to make it deeper in tone. But
Yeah.
having said that, I see what you're saying. I would maybe tone these bright yellows up here. I would maybe bring those down in brightness just a little bit so they are closer because it does create the road creates a division, but maybe that's um, maybe we look at the title, The Road That Chose Me. I like that story, but maybe the road could have more of a say so in the division of colors or two different families because whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, you see this orange down here. I
yeah.
think it might just be that this is catching blue light from the sun. You know, all this is catching blue light from the sun,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
and this isn't. This section isn't. So I think we just gotta get it, get it into key, saturation key a little bit better. Neat image. Yeah, I love it.
Kevin, you want to add to it?
I'm wondering actually, um,
Black and white? No.
no,
Flip it,
no,
Kevin.
but
You want to flip it?
I am wondering what like a square crop would look like in this, like that.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just see.
We haven't seen any square crops tonight, interestingly.
And I don't think there's any coming up. Oh, there's might be one coming up just for you. So kind of from the roads taken off from the corners there to
Kind of. Let's no, go back out to the right.
like there.
So it's a square. Yeah, so it's a square.
I'd even come down like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it works too.
I mean, it
Lots.
really focuses you in more on the road at this point.
Right, and since that's kind of the title of it, that does kind of help for that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you pop this? Can you open this and liquefy for a second?
Liquefy?
Yeah.
I don't even know where that is anymore.
Filter. Up,
Which one is it? No.
up, 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 up,
Oh, up there. Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't used this in
up. There
years.
we go. So you're going to use that tool. I want to take this road right here, and I just want to
Okay.
see something from it. Let me erase it. Let me take it out for a minute.
So what do you want to do with it? I'm sorry, Mr.
So here's my issue is I don't like the bulbousness of the road right here. I want this line
Oh, I got
to
you.
come to here. So I want to just poke it down this way and then push this curve in just a little bit.
Gotcha. So I have to think about it. I haven't done this for so long.
Yeah, and then that little bulbous part, yep. Yeah, right there. And for what it's worth, I'd also just take it liquefy this side into the road here.
Oh, just that little pull off section.
Yeah.
Damn, that's genius. Yeah.
Like that changes the whole feeling to me of that road.
So I'll do a before and after here. Look at that. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I might even go in and just let me get the pen tool here. By that same token, take this edge of the road and maybe just bring it up into here so it's
Exactly. Yep. Like keep that
you have a
keep that line
uniform
this
thickness. Yeah.
uniform thickness, or keep the curve uniform, or like,
Yeah, you could basically move the whole road this way, couldn't you? With this
and
thing.
I do.
That's
Because I
very
love
cool.
the serpentine turn, but
Right.
it's so that originally that man-made bulbous part was like bugging me. It's like it was like a coffee mug handle.
That's one of those things. Once you say it, you can't unsee that.
I mean, but to be clear, Maker, if you're listening, that's not a justifiable reason for it to not be a merit. Okay, I want to be clear. As a juror, I can't say, well, I think the maker should have liquefied this. That's not at all our job. We're to judge what's in front of us. At a critique level, it's a whole different deal. Everything is open for us to talk about versus it's not justifiable to say I would merit it if they would liquefy it. That's not
Yeah, that's not cool.
not justifiable.
That's starting to get towards the mean category.
And it's like remaking the image for the maker, we're not doing that.
If I was standing there, I hate when a judge will. I've heard that if I shot this, like, whoa, stop right there.
You didn't.
You didn't. Good stuff, guys. Just a few more, like 5 more, 6 more. So we're doing all right here. Okay. This one has a tongue twister for a title. The Sea's Secret Doorway. Kevin, I'll let you jump into this one.
Yeah, right on.
I don't know if that
Beautiful.
enlargement helps you or not, but
Yeah. No, beautiful long exposure capture. The sea was, I'm sure, quite rough in there. Nice call on doing the long exposure to smooth it down. As a long exposure photographer myself, what I love to see is all the fog that builds up around rocks when the waves are crashing on there. That's how you get that with,
nice,
a good
nice,
2 or 3 or 5 minute long capture builds that
nice.
fog up around there. But if the water is not choppy enough, what happens is you get this kind of awkward glassy feel in the other areas of the water. So it's working for me down in this section a lot, and not so much up in here. And then the other thing that I would do in the talking about the water is I would I would go in and clone some of these distractions out just to go ahead and smooth them out, get them smooth. So we have quite a few of them in here. Just to go ahead and smooth them out. What I'm really liking about this image, however, let me clear my lines, is I'm liking the lead in, the foreground framing. All this down in here is just a beautiful lead in to the scene, honestly. And I think if we just went in and selectively darkened and dodged, zoomed way in and just dodged some of these veins and these rocks down to just much darker black, and then, or excuse me, burned, and then come in and dodge some light back into some of these other areas selectively. I think it's really working. It's a
Yeah,
nice, it's a
yeah,
nice line that just kind of, it's a nice circle here. Yep.
brighten this up just a hair.
Yep.
So this wonderful angle here
Yep.
be more defined.
And then darken some of this down just selectively with your brush. And zoom way in when you're doing that, guys, so you can like micro, they're like little, those tiny details really help bring the image to life. But the long exposure down in here is it's just a little awkward. I think removing some of those distractions would help. Here
Okay.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
What do you want to add, Jeffrey?
Can you zoom in on the rock on this side for a minute?
Sure.
Maybe.
I believe in you, Jeff.
I
You
don't.
could do it.
So is
Muddy,
it
yeah.
me? I can't shake something, and it could just be, again, I could be old eyes, but there's a cutout feel to this. And
Well, yeah, I see that too. And
I
again,
can't shake it, but I might be wrong. I just,
well, what happens for me that I've noticed, and I know Kevin and I've talked about, when you take a scene, especially when there's a mountain and a sky, and you just darken the sky, let's say you got a blue against a stone, and you darken that blue, you will get a ghosty line there. That's pretty
yeah.
natural. So it does kind of make it look like it's cut out. And again, Maker, I'm sorry we're going too large, but this is for talk and not competition. That little bit of a ghosting line probably came from darkening the water. It's a
And
natural.
it needs to be addressed though. It can
Yes, it's a natural
Yeah.
thing, but just because it's natural doesn't mean you can ignore it. It needs to be, again, a simple clone stamp tool, put it on darken mode and just sample next to it and just draw a line and it'll
Yep.
darken. That's
Yep.
all I need to do because I'm
And
seeing
and make sure that tool is feathered all the way,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
softens
You know,
the edge.
But you're right,
To
Jeff.
add
It does give it a
two
cutout
things-
feel.
two things. I'm not sure I'm not losing my mind when I say this. I'm seeing green right here, and right here, and right here, but I'm not seeing green elsewhere. Are you guys seeing that too?
Now that you pointed out, there's a little bit of a color cast in the highlights of a
Yeah,
green.
maybe.
Let me just do this. Let me throw the black and white filter on top of this. And yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
That's
see.
already way stronger to
Undo
me.
it, undo it. I didn't see that shift. I wasn't looking.
So watch this ridge right here, Kevin.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a little bit of cyan cast. I'm going to turn it. It's going on now.
Yeah, good catch.
Very subtle, but and the other thing that it does because of how our brains play tricks on it, because the opposite of cyan is red, you see the cyan, this now looks red to me.
Right, and yeah.
And when I turn it on, it
Yeah.
zeroes all that out to black and white.
So I don't know this scene, and I don't know where it is. It's okay. Do me a favor, just flip it horizontal.
Oh my God.
Come on. That would be I kind of like that myself a little bit better, but it would definitely be a personal choice, knowing that this is probably a well-known location.
It's the issue. Okay, for me, it's this. Oops.
Sorry, you want it back the other way?
No, just leave it right there for a minute.
Okay.
This on the other side is problematic. Where, I mean, it creates this arc like this. You know, you come in this way and you're forced to come back to this really beautiful area right here. And if you flip it out for a second, flip it over again, you come up and the arc is different. It doesn't, nothing brings you back to here. You have to go looking for it. So just something to consider.
Good stuff. Okay. Unwilling entree. Good title. First of all, good story. That's what we like. That the title creates a little bit of a story in the judge's mind, so that they're okay. What are we looking for? And then, of course, it obviously has to fit. So I think it's great. There's just a littlest tiny fish in the bill, nice splashing around, gives us some action. A little kerplunk in the water. The circles of waves of the water keep it from being still. So I mean, or it gives us a little bit of action, is what I'm trying to say. Couple things I might do. I love the color tone of it. There's a lot of green in here, which you're going to see the green in the shadows, which is not terrible, but I think I'd maybe adjust those to take the green out of there. I feel like we're starting to lose just a little bit of the detail on the back of the bird from the sky. So you could select the bird's body and make that just a little bit darker. The leg's fine, the underbelly's fine, the hip or whatever you want to call it's fine. It's just mostly this area here could be just a little tiny bit darker so we get just a little more detail. I'd maybe go in and just dodge, hold the eye back a little bit. Um, but then another thing that happens in these scenes, this is natural, but even though your background is soft focus, there's a lot of lines going on here that are pulling away from the bird. And I mean, it just goes on, and it's just distracting. Then you have all the motion of the waves, the rings and the waves. Then you've got the reflection of the lines of the trees. So there's a lot of things that are distracting. And I know this is a tough one. Um, you could do a couple of things, and we'll see what the guys say. I might select like from about here, the background, maybe even here, maybe even down around behind the bird, and just soften that up. You can do that in the raw converter. Just maybe make this a little softer, maybe pull the contrast down just a little bit more so it's a more of a painted kind of a feel. The water I think is fine. Bird's great. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you could drop the clarity in that background, Jeff, like you were saying, in the raw converter by doing that selectively. Um, this is another one of those ones I feel would work strongly in a black and white. Honestly, it would
Okay.
eliminate the green hue that you're worried about.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think it would yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we still have a problem up here, right? And so some
Yeah.
connection,
Yeah, definitely up there.
something has to happen because the lighting is directly overhead. And
Yep.
so, for sure, as well as some selective toning here. You could probably even just crop out a lot of this. No, not quite that high, but some of this in the top at least,
If you cut that in half, is
Yeah.
that maybe getting a little tight for the bird, though, you think? Or are you
I
okay?
don't necessarily think so.
Yeah, that's better. I noticed the bamboo a lot less.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I did like it better in color, honestly. It's interesting.
I'm just sitting here thinking the same thing.
That's unusual for me to say.
Well, the green and even the little stroke, I think, are good choices of color. They're there, they're subtle, they're supporting it, but not taking over. The bird still stands out.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm liking the orange. That's the only really we have white, we have green, and then we have that one hit of orange.
So you could even do a little bit of a,
Bump that orange up a little bit, even.
yeah, but I was gonna say we could take and make it just a little bit overall a little darker. That makes these tones a little deeper.
Yeah.
Still soften that background, and then yeah, you could pump that orange up just a. That's kind of an overall orange effect we don't really want, but you can see what it does to the
Yeah.
mask it all out.
I think
Nice capture, though. Great timing, though, isn't it? I mean, look at the.
it is. Yeah. I mean, this is a good play right here. That all the action that's happening right there is just wonderful. Truly it is. And the way his leg is here. I think I think this is the main thing to tackle.
All right.
Right up there.
Would you go this far? To play up the story of the
All right.
supper time. I don't know.
I think it needs that angled leg in the back to really mimic the. It's like a.
It balances the beat.
It's like a Batman logo.
I like that correlation. It is, though. It really is. How Kev, did you notice how fat? Go ahead.
Kevin's gonna be like, Jeff, where did you get this dinosaur? What the heck is he talking about?
No, but I'm thinking, did you see how fast he drew the Batman logo?
Yeah, he's drawn that before.
I have not.
He's got t-shirts like that. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Maker, to your expense there, but I think you got a lot of good stuff there to work with. But I think it's a good image worth playing with. Okay. Just 4 more and we'll be done for the night. Vigil at Last Light. Ooh. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, beautiful image.
Nice detail throughout the bird.
Anybody else see that? I'm gonna take it away.
We got banding.
It's something like I mean, just take it away and I can show you.
Couldn't be on Zoom. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it actually could be. Hit Control L and just run a levels higher, like compress it for a minute. Let's see if it shows up.
Yeah.
It could be Zoom.
I don't see it, so I'm gonna say
I think it's Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I just wanted to see if it was. Just compress it just to see how it looks. No, it's pretty good. Sorry, Maker. I can see something on my Zoom.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
And I wanted that's the thing I would point out. So I think it's beautifully captured. I would probably leave it just like this.
Kevin, what would you do?
I think the tonal range on the head could come up in value just a little bit selectively. And honestly, if you did like a content aware, or just if these could get cloned out completely, like this whole chunk right there, just gone, and just have this branch just floating all the way through, so nothing's leaving the frame here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That would be so strong because this branch itself would look so good
What
without.
about this stuff? Would you get rid of these two?
I think that's okay over there, honestly.
Okay.
It's almost like he's right near his nest, which is potentially just off frame there.
Gotcha.
But
So just
these
these-
leaving the frame here, if they were gone, it would look really strong.
Yep, I agree. Just cutting this guy off right here,
Yeah.
making that like a broken
Yep.
branch right there.
Easy to do.
Yep.
Very easy to do. And you have a clear, nice, clean sky to clone from to get it done.
I know that would be easy. Yeah.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
was
all these other ones I'd leave, but that
Oh,
just
yeah. Yeah.
that clump, those three right there. It streamlines it too, because you got a lot of content, and then you get this almost this triangle happening.
Very
Clean.
strong composition. His pose is beautiful profile. I mean, it couldn't be more profile than that, right?
Well, look at it, and the eye's handled so well. Whatever you did to it, you keep going back to the eye.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Would you bring out a little bit more in the shadows of the body of the bird?
Maybe. I would in the head for sure. And I maybe even consider in the tail a little bit too.
This is not the safest, smartest tool to use, but it gives you a quick idea of just a little bit more detail. And I don't mind that there's a little bit of shadows under the wings there, but see how the face stands out a little bit more.
Yeah. It's great. The bird looks great now, and then the sky back to where it was, I think is what would nail it.
Exactly. So yeah, you could go take that into camera raw and just select the bird, and like you were talking about, lightening up the head a little bit and lightening up actually the whole bird could be lit up. You can see the talons a little bit stronger because they're there. Look at, they got a death grip on this branch.
Right.
Very strong, very good. Even the little soft stroke is perfect.
All of that works well.
Good stuff. Okay. 3 more, gang. Thanks for being patient with us tonight. This is called, hang on one second here. Let me just make sure I put the titles in here and I spelled words wrong. That's a Jeff thing, JJ thing. Waiting for a rider in Old Dublin Town. Kevin, go ahead.
Is there a painterly effect applied to this? I can't tell. It looks almost like there is. Am I seeing
I
that?
don't know. I don't think so. But sometimes I feel that when things are just pushed to over sharpening, they start
Like
having that effect.
HDR-ish almost.
Yeah.
It's super busy. Like right when I look at this, I don't know where to land. And then I land on this menu back here, which is probably not where the maker wants me to land at all.
Right.
But it's almost like that menu is the most calming place to be, with the exception of these arches up here. And I think probably what the maker's after here is because of this old school, horse and carriage. It's what we see around here in Charleston a lot too. This looks
Sure.
like it almost could be in Charleston. They wanted it to be very, I don't know, crunchy and just grainy. I'm uncomfortable with it. With it being just over sharpened like this.
Just look at the flat of the sidewalk that just seems so over textured that I think that's where we're going with it.
Yeah, right in here.
I think the stories or the contrast tonal range is very nicely done throughout it. But it's just starting to look a little bit, and it looks overworked is what the word comes down to. If you were to go in and lighten up the driver just a little bit, just dodge him ever so slight so he stands out, especially his face, just a little bit more.
The scene itself is tricky because there's so much going on in the background that the horse gets lost in all of this that's happening. in the background
Yeah.
around the horse. So it's hard to even find sometimes the edge of the horse,
Right. If you look
itself.
at all of this white from the window surroundings, it just adds so much. There's so many things going on that it does make it hard to focus on the theme. Jeff, what do you want to add, sir?
I'm not sure we need this. So I'm not sure if the crop doesn't get stronger by removing or at least toning a lot of this down.
I saw that too, yeah.
And I definitely don't know that I need the menu.
So
You
we
don't? I'm kind of
not
hungry,
sure I need
man.
the
What's on
menu.
that menu?
Well, although I'm hungry right this minute,
yeah. The only
I
thing
don't
about
know that. I'd like to see it cropped out and see if it isn't. I mean, I think that's stronger.
It is.
it does zero in, and then you could do a
And crop out this white extruded aluminum here too.
underneath the horse's head. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. But yeah, I would also do a gradient, darken this,
Yeah.
do a gradient, darken this. You could take this all the way up into the curb of the street, make sure this gets darkened. I darkened this post of white here and maybe these guys.
I want to do something really crazy here. Okay.
Yeah, go crazy away.
I want you to make the layer editable, not
Okay,
editable.
go.
Hit Command T and go up to your the file aware and choose distort. I think
Okay.
it's file. No, it's sorry. It's so small. Edit. Yeah. Go to
Yeah,
transform,
transform, distort.
distort, and bring the top down. So top left.
Top left down. Oh, you
Yeah.
want
I want to increase the drama on the angle. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. Now do the same on the bottom. Bring it up. I just want to see. It's probably too much, but and then if you crop off the top and clean up
right.
the square, it's too much. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean that it's exactly right.
But you get the idea you're going for. Yeah, so if we get into here.
Because the circles, the circular wheels have started losing their circleness.
Circularity.
It's a little too much, but that's the sort of thing, like if you're gonna go with that angle, like make it even a little bit more extreme.
It's almost like
do
walking
that.
up on, it's like using a more of a wide angle lens and closer to the horse is what you're doing there.
Yeah, and I'm making the horse a little more dramatic. And
Yeah.
you do that prior to any cropping.
Right.
Because we keep cropping it, we're making it more and more extreme.
So if I go back to the original here before we cropped it before and take this area. So basically we're going to take about from this area. Oops, nice straight line there, guys. We're going to take this area and pre-cropping and make this distance smaller.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, you're increasing the vanishing point from here to here.
Yeah, right.
Which will make, I think, the horse come out even
More prominent.
more interesting. Yeah.
More better. That's when you can say more better.
Or better.
All right, good stuff, you guys. Thanks for that. That's a good point of view. Play with that, Maker. I'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, just a couple more here, gang. Thanks for hanging in there. So we have one called watercolors.
Oh, I was thinking black and white.
Take this into black and white, is that what you're saying?
No. Have to rename it if you did that.
Go ahead, Kev, while you're talking.
That is very watercolor-y, isn't it?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, look at like all the the color here is just really cool up in these clouds on the bottom there. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Kind of a ruby almost in there.
Yeah. This is a nice reflection down in here.
Would you come up on the bottom of the crop any?
Maybe a little bit. I'm really not sure we're needing this over here, but I see, it's also I'm mixed about it because there's rain happening over there. That's
Well,
what's
that's what,
happening.
yeah. Yeah, I like that because
So
it
it's
is going.
interesting to see the mix, the difference. We have the sun breaking here, and either a storm is approaching or has just left. So it's
Right.
nice to see. It's kind of nice to see that at the same time. And I'm really enjoying these clouds that are, just floating up here in the foreground. I'm not sure if this light on the bottom of that has been painted in it. I'm not sure I'm buying it. See that pink on the bottom of
Yeah.
that cloud?
It's right there.
Maybe it is real.
Hard to say. I
It's a
kind of
pretty
think,
scene. Is this the
yeah.
sensor spot I'm seeing there?
Yeah, I think so. I just saw that too.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in a little bit more?
Sure, man. Yeah, that's a big sensor spot over there. Sorry, Maker.
Yeah. It's got to go.
Now you'll remember. I'm just gonna pan. Same with the little white spot. It's just a cloud spot, but I would definitely get rid of that.
Yeah, these little things are.
I'll stop somewhere, Jeff, so you can play.
Yeah, I just was looking at those center spots too. Um, I feel like there's straight lines. You were just mentioning the rain over here.
Yeah.
There's some sort of chatter in the file I can't put my finger on. It might be Zoom, guys. Like that's the tricky thing, right? Like I can't.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, Jeff.
I don't see it either. So you're probably is Zoom. When I go small, I don't see it. But so you're seeing a little bit of noise, kind of a.
I'm seeing a real straight line noise in here.
Oh, okay.
Like I know that this. I know that there's rain over there, and that I can expect. But
Right.
there's really straight lines there that I was feeling,
Right.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on my
Yeah,
display.
that's why I say it very well might be Zoom.
Yeah, I think it's Zoom.
I think you could squash this one in a little bit and get to closer to a 2-to-3 ratio, because there isn't a lot of compelling. The color is compelling, but the physicality of the mountains aren't as grand or as compelling as I think they could be. So maybe we bring it in
So
from the
make it-
left.
Oh, I see.
So like
Left to
squash
right.
it left to right a little bit. Keep going. Yeah, like that to me comes off as more grand. And again, you guys don't have to agree, of course. What do you guys think?
I do like it.
Yeah, no, when you say it that way, I'll just do a before and after so we can see. It's this minor change, but it does make this a little bit more steep, a little more grand. Yeah.
I do like the location of this, this reflection there, and that's
I
working for
I like
me.
the reflection, but I'm wondering if the water is taking up a little bit too much of our attention.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's not like we have this mountain peak like this, right?
Yeah, right. See, the color in the story, I think, there's pretty reflection here. We still got it, but the color in the story is in the sky,
Yeah,
then the land, then the water is
it's secondary.
yeah.
What do we think about this green right here? It's
Hang
the
on.
only color that doesn't match in my head.
Yeah, good call when you say that. It does stand out now that you mention that. Oh, that is interesting. One would think that would be more in this gray blue tone or more orange reflections. I mean, you could say that. What do I want to do here? I mean, the sun's probably up in here. So this is not going to be too much of a shadow, maybe a little bit. But if the water is blue-gray out here, it probably could be okay to be blue-gray in here, and it would be more consistent. This orange then would stand out even more, or you could even extend this orange into this that way a little bit more reflection. Anything else to
No, I
add?
think we've covered it.
Matte colors seem to be okay for you. Just a simple blue-gray, kind of a
Yeah.
purple, a little bit of
Yeah,
violet.
that's good.
Maybe a little less on the keystroke, a little thinner maybe.
Yeah,
Or
drop the opacity.
yeah, minor thing.
Hit those sensor spots for sure.
Definitely, especially that one. That could be, or either that or add a little jet stream and make it look like the Jetsons are coming into the scene there. So, sorry, not meant to be mean, just meant to be funny. Okay, we have one more, guys. This is called, oh jeez, perfect one to end in. Who farted?
My dog over there a little while ago.
Oh my goodness. Jeffrey, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is really clever and really fun. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah, that's really, really beautifully captured. In fact, I think it needs to be pretty big as far as the way it's working. I see some things, all the little things we talked about watching for like little areas that draw our eye out of the frame, little tiny things.
Sorry, I moved on.
Are they a big deal? No. I'd probably even remove this water, even though it's water. I just don't need to see that there's plenty of great water that's happening right here.
Right.
I think can you zoom out again? Just to one click, please. Yeah, so here's you guys might laugh at me because I talk about flipping images all the time. I'm gonna tell you, like, we've got our rule of thirds, right?
Yeah.
And everyone knows, not everyone knows, but these are our points of power, right? Here's the thing. Usually, I would reserve most things to be on this point of power and this point of power, most normal things. I would put things that make me uncomfortable, like reportage drug addicts or Satanists or, something on this left-hand side. And I don't find this to be that uncomfortable, right? So I'd like to see it flipped to see if it feels even funnier. I don't mean funny as in a bad way. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's any better. I just think that there's this natural line that's bringing us out of the frame. And I want to come back. I want to come back in
Come back in,
to the
right.
head. So I'm not saying it needs to be flipped. I can't say for sure. Or, yeah, I don't know for sure. It's just one opinion. But I think if you leave it here for a minute, we come in and I feel like we almost go out. I want to do this, but I'm not sensing that I do that. Do you guys see what I mean? And am I wrong? Like, are you coming back to this without trying?
It is a bit of a work, like you're saying. I don't know that I'm just going to do the flip thing again. If it's the same thing the other way, I don't think it helps. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm almost kind of it would be nice. I'd like to see if there was a little bit more, let's say this edge of the image was over here. There was a little more space.
Yeah, maybe. What
Then
about cropping this beak out?
From the bottom there? Sure.
Yeah.
Let's just see. Hang on.
I think that would help a lot because we want this to be the only orange in the frame, and we have a little reflection down there that's competing.
It's
I think that
pulling
would
your
help
eye,
a lot.
isn't it? Yeah.
Just right above it, yeah.
Maybe even go a little tighter on the tails there.
That would give you the room to the left that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And,
That kind of plays up that face a little bit more. We've taken that reflection out of the scene. It's cool, but it's not necessary for the story. Because the story is about this guy.
Yeah, and Jeff had mentioned something earlier, is like these little things may not matter. They actually do matter. These little water spots and things like that. I print, and so I think about things hanging on the wall, and these are the things
Sure.
that catch you over time. Even the little bit of orange that's showing in their feet back here, I would clone those out
Good idea.
because we want this to be the only orange, absolutely the only orange in there.
Yeah, the feathers are reflecting a lot of orange in there too.
Yeah, and yeah, you could eliminate some of that as well. And then you go through and you literally go through and clean up some of the stuff in the water that's not important. You know, these little water droplets clean up some of these distractions in the background as well. Edge distractions, I call them.
Yeah, especially those on the edge. Exactly.
Yeah, the ones that are right on the edge are really distracting.
Over here, even this. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you guys this. Does this bother you here? I mean, it's part of the scene, but this
Oh,
area right
sorry.
here, I know it's disturbing water or disturbed water because it's happening in front of, but this is asking for a lot of attention. Even this interesting reflection right here is just strong enough. It was softer
Strong.
like this, but if this was, you could blur that a little bit more. I think it might pull it
You could
away.
you could actually just burn the lower edge to
True.
help that.
Yeah.
This one maybe not so much because it kind of leads me in actually.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it's just this area that's catching my eye. That part of the reflection,
Yeah,
the bend in the wing right there.
I think this image would stand well for like a top and bottom burning.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, I tried doing this for me. That's beautiful too.
Had to try it.
Actually,
Okay.
squash the image horizontally a little bit,
Okay.
please.
I'm just having trouble changing tools here. Won't do it again. There.
I'm sorry. Like, bring the left to the right a little bit. Oh, and not in crop, and transform. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
The thing is, there's a certain math about what happens, and if we go too long, the eye can't get back.
Good point.
You know what I mean by that? Like it there's an arc that's pleasing, and once you go past that arc, it struggles to get back.
No, it makes sense because it just makes the journey so long that they just may lose interest in coming back to the thing. Yeah, that makes a difference there.
That's almost a 2-to-1 now.
Yeah,
Almost,
yeah.
not quite.
Yeah.
2-to-1 is a very comfortable crop for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
It's like 2 to 3, I think is what it's like technically, but 1 to 2 I love, 1 to 3 I like, 1 to 4 is a stretch. I mean, it really
We've
is.
seen a couple 1-to-4s tonight.
I mean,
Right.
they sometimes work.
They sometimes do, yeah, but I think all of them we were talking about cropping them, every one of them.
Well, but the same thing you're saying there, Jeff, it just makes it just a little bit too much real estate that it's like after a while, like, okay, I'd rather stay over here and then this doesn't matter. And so just keep that in mind. Good stuff, guys. That was our last image. Let me just double check.
Okay.
Didn't forget somebody. If I've forgotten somebody who's still watching, please chime in real quick because I think I got everybody's. I know we're missing one person's, but I don't think she's in the room. She's gonna try it next time. Okay. Are there any of the images you want me to go back to, guys? Any other comments, thoughts?
I think we hit every image pretty hard.
Which is good because that's what people are paying the big dollars for. Is there any what was your favorite, Kevin?
Oh gosh.
Favorite couple?
I think my favorite would have been with just a minor bit of work would have been the sand dunes, the serpentining sand dunes.
All right, let me do this here. This should be all the ones that were open. That's my files. Let me do that.
Very graphic design image. It really just suits my eye very well.
first row. Lower, I'm sorry, the first column, not row.
Oh, this one here, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been my favorite, I think. See, there's a 4-1.
Yeah,
close.
exactly. It just depends on the right.
Yeah.
But you know,
It has-
if you squash this one, I bet it would even improve too.
You think so? Let's try that.
Let's see. If you squash this one to 2 to 3.
So you're talking
Not
squash.
2 to 3. Do like 3-1. 1 to 3.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I just mean squash a little bit and see.
Yeah.
Right there. That arc gets tighter is what happens.
It does. That's cool.
Yeah, it really ramps it up. Boom. That's such a, to me, for my eye, line and shape and pattern, as someone who's a photographer as well as a graphic designer, those are the things that I see.
Right.
And when I'm walking around town or whatever, that image speaks to me in volumes.
I actually like that better. Like you said, that swoop from the
Steeper. It's
yeah,
more vertical.
but from the point over here, it makes it that much more pay attention to me kind of thing.
Mm.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff, did you have a favorite or two that you want to?
Yeah, I think that last image would have been my highest scoring image.
Okay.
Like depending, I mean, it's hard to score when you're critiquing because there's so many. I think that these snow trees, I think there's actually, it looks like there's 2 of them in there.
Three. Oh yeah, 2. The one on the bottom is the same.
I think those are beautiful and subtle. There's, as far as favorite, I mean, that I thought was beautiful. The single tree I thought was beautiful. The one that was
Right.
similar in its values to this one. Some of the fall scenes, so I've got a lot of, I don't want to call them favorite, but there's a lot of really
Just stand out.
I think really great images here.
Good. Well, like I said at the beginning of the show, we're trying not to pick scoring and give anybody any false hopes or anything like that, but I think it's kind of fair to just point out some of them that you really liked and leaned into. So good stuff. Stop the share and come back to the real world. Any questions from the audience? Thank you for hanging in there with us. It was a long show, but we appreciate that.
Yeah, we covered a lot of images tonight.
Yeah. Well, Jeffrey, thank you, man, for giving us your time. You're
My
very
pleasure.
experienced judge, and I've always appreciated, well, obviously hanging out, being a friend of yours, but just have always appreciated and really respected your point of view when I've sat on panels with you and such. So this was a no-brainer. And Rick says hi, and he missed that he wasn't here, but we kind of kicked him out of here on purpose. So
Get out of here, Rick. Mr. Eddie's father. That's what I call him. You know that.
That's right. Oh, that's right. You did. That's right. Mr. Eddie's father. Well, we had Bert Benke on a couple weeks ago, and that was going back to the old. You know what? After the show was over, we sat and talked for about an hour and a half.
You're not getting that out of me tonight, man.
No, I
Sorry.
know you two guys are on the. Well, thank you for sitting in on us on this with us.
Happy to help, guys. You guys have a great night. I'm going to bed.
Oh, it was a
Cheers,
close-
Jeff.
Thanks,
close
everyone.
game. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Great to see
Appreciate
you
it.
all. Great
Thanks,
images.
everybody.
Thank you for watching the Image Critique Show with Jeff Johnson and Rick Avalos. Learn more by checking them out at theimagecritiqueshow.com.